shadowy corners of the forest, hidden among the leaves, lurks a creature that seems pulled from the depths of a forgotten myth, the caterpillars of the lobster moth. At first glance, it barely looks alive, resembling a twisted, broken twig caught in the breeze. But once it starts moving, it becomes clear that this creature is like no other, with long squiggly legs. It contorts its body to move forward. But what are they? Let's learn about them today. What the heck are these? Freaky beasts? That's seriously scary, huh? Whoa! Believe it or not, but these are the caterpillars of probably the most alien-looking moth on Earth. I should rephrase that because the moths they turn into actually are not that strange. It's just their caterpillar stage that are absolutely out of this world. So what are they? These are the famous caterpillars of the lobster moth. Scientific name Stauropus fagi. And what am I doing with them? Good question. My name is Bart Coppens, and I am an online entomologist that films the life cycles of butterfly and moth species that are noteworthy. One species that my fans have been asking for several years is the lobster moth. This species is very famous for having the most creepy and strange looking larvae in the whole Lepidoptera world. Wow, they kind of remind me of an alien, a xenomorph, or perhaps a scorpion. It is very freaky, and it's definitely not what people imagine when you say caterpillar. Caterpillars can have many surprising shapes, forms, and varieties. It's something we've seen on my channel before, but these are extreme. And today, I'm going to try to breed this species in captivity, or at least I'm gonna try to raise these moths from egg to fully grown metamorphosized moth and film the whole life cycle, and hopefully we will learn a thing or two. I really wonder how these animals grow and develop. Today you're watching my web series called MothCycles. It's my most popular web series, and it's a web series in which we do vlogging style moth breeding and rearing. And today we're gonna do the lobster moth. Stauropus fagi. Let's start the intro. My name is Bart Coppens. I am an online entomologist that documents the life cycles of moths and butterflies. This is the story of how I managed to raise the lobster moth. Many fans have requested this episode. Enjoy! Last but not least, at the end of this video, I have a special gift for you. So don't leave. Surprise reveal from my community. Today I'm going to be using oak tree to raise what is the freakiest caterpillar in Europe and perhaps in the whole world. Yeah, forget about my appearance. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the sexy moth king Bart Coppens. Today I'm going to raise the craziest caterpillar in the world using oak tree. We're going to be raising Stauropus fagi, also known as the lobster moth. Their caterpillars are really insane and unique looking. How to breed this crazy species? Well, there's a variety of methods, but the basics are always the same with most moth species. Get a plastic container, cover the bottom with paper towel. I use this strategy so many times in so many of my videos. Then get some food plant in a water bottle, the water keeps it fresh. And place the food plant in here, and now we're going to add the babies. To hurry up because a thunderstorm is approaching. So here there's a petri dish, and this petri dish contains the eggs of the lobster moth. The black ones are fertile, the yellow ones are probably infertile. I don't know why half of them are not fertile. But as we can see, baby caterpillars have already hatched from them. And they look absolutely crazy. From the moment they are born, lobster moths already look like they are not from this world. It's probably one of the weirdest insects that you can breed as a pet in captivity. As you can see, one of them is eating its own eggshell. And that's what they do after they come out of the eggs. They consume their own eggshell. It's actually what a lot of species do. So they are not born with an empty stomach or anything. They are born with a full belly. Anyway, they are really weird looking. Totally alien. And yes, in here we have several of them. What? Look at that! They are so weird, I'm telling you, they are so weird. Anyway guys, a thunderstorm is approaching, so I have to be really fast here. Oh no! Oh no! Really scary and ominous. Guys. Am I going to die? I am actually concerned here. I should hurry up. Uh-oh. Oh geez. Oh geez. Yep. There we go. Let's continue this indoors, guys. I don't want to get blown away. Yeah, I'm not gonna risk it. Let's go indoors. Good progress, right? So I checked back just a few days later. Right, whatever then. Storm or not, we will continue indoors. I don't like filming indoors, because the lighting is much more terrible. Anyway, still got some baby lobster moths to take care of. Man, these things are tiny little aliens, I'm telling you. Yes, guys, use a paintbrush. Never use your fingers on baby caterpillars, because you may end up squishing them, alright? They are very vulnerable at this life stage. So, there you go. It's on the leaf. totally freaky. Totally weirdos. What the heck? Honestly, the group of moths that these belong to, aka the prominent moths, the Notodontidae, have some of the best caterpillars. Some of you may also know the puss moth, vanilla. Same family. There's a bunch of other ones who are very bizarre too. These creatures are very, very unusual. They are unlike any caterpillar you'll ever see. Now guys, this is one of those things that in my opinion makes our hobby really so cool, you know? And when I talk about my hobby, of course I mean the captive breeding of butterflies and moths. Funny thing is, if you look from the outside, you know, outwardly, if you look inward, you know, from the outside, then it looks very repetitive, especially if you're not really into it. Sometimes people ask me, Bart, don't you get bored of breeding the same animals over and over, you know, at the same time? And I suppose from the surface, if you're not really into this kind of stuff, it kind of looks repetitive, but you know, my fans know better. So if you look deeper, then you'll see that the insane variety and diversity that there is. I'm gonna poke it a little bit with the... Yeah, oh, look, very defensive. Use the paintbrush to annoy it a little bit for the camera. Sorry guys. I'm allowed to do that. So, the things that we are seeing are basically their legs. Believe it or not, but caterpillars have legs like any other insect. They have actually 3 pairs of legs, because insects practically have 6 legs, no exceptions. In some species they are reduced and not visible, but all of them have 6 legs. And if they have less, then they have reduced legs. But their body plan includes 6 legs, and what a lot of people call the feet of a caterpillar that are here on the behind. It's hard to show because it's really small. I should show this with a bigger caterpillar. But here on the behind, those are basically suction cups that are part of its body. They are fleshy structures that it uses to grip the leaf. But not many people know that the small legs in front, near the caterpillar's head, those are the actual legs. These are the actual legs. And these spider-like legs in this caterpillar are actually, they are basically just their normal legs that every caterpillar has. The only difference in this species, they are just very long. And it's funny, because in any other insect, these legs tend to be longer. I mean, that's a huge generalization, of course. But if you think about something like a grasshopper, or a beetle, or a fly, or most other insects, yeah, we are used to it. We are used to them having longer legs they used to walk on. And it's just unusual that in this case it's a caterpillar, because they tend to have way shorter legs. But if you think about it, this adaptation is not all that unusual or crazy. It's normal insect morphology, yeah. It's just that we are not used to seeing it. We are not used to seeing caterpillars with such long legs. But they are basically just longer, that's it really. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's so silly, isn't it? This species is really alien. Really alien. Sorry if I keep shaking, guys. In my opinion, this species is not difficult to breed. I think they are kind of easy to raise in captivity in most cases. Not a huge challenge. And they are one of the more fun species you can raise from Europe. Well, they're also in parts of Asia. But in Europe, they are very widespread. And it's a very nice species to try if you are not very into exotic insects. You're like, nah, I don't want to import exotic insects from other country. I want to breed something from my own country. There's a good chance that these are native. You don't really see them much in nature because they are often highly arboreal. Larvae are very well hidden in the vegetation, so are the moths. Even though the species is not really rare, they just have a hidden lifestyle that makes them hard to find. And easiest way to find them is to attract them with artificial light. Light trapping, that's how most people encounter theirs when they're doing like insect monitoring projects. Female is rare. Males show up at light very easily. Interestingly, getting material of this species, like getting eggs or getting cocoons of this species, is not easy. I've raised them several times in my life, so it's definitely possible. There are people in Europe who breed them, just like I do. But it's hard. It's sometimes still hard to find good material of them. Wow, so unusual. I shall put on the lid. That's it for today. Good night, my sweetie little aliens. Love you. I love you, even though you are weird. In fact, I love you because you are weird. How about that? Don't lose your weakness. I like to use oak tree. But the caterpillars of this species can feed on a lot of plants. They also love beech, hazel, lime, willow, maple, birch, and many more. I just use oak because I have a lot of it available. And then I check back a few days later. Hey guys, I'm outdoors today to show the progress on Stauropus fagi. See how they are doing. Oh well, I can tell they've been eating a lot. It's looking good so far. Yeah, I think this is good. Let me show you. Wow guys, now at least to me it's very clear that some of the larvae have entered the second life stage in maybe 4 or 5 days time. They can grow very fast, that's what it seems like. A lot of the leaf has been damaged. This damage in the leaf is an indicator of the fact that they have been feeding. These gaps that you see are basically caterpillars chewing up the leaves. So that means that, yeah, they've been doing well, they've been eating well. Oh wow, some of them are much bigger than their friends. Just look at that. Here's more of them. This is still instar number 1. But these are in the process of shedding their skin soon, I can tell from the way their head capsule looks. Experienced breeders of moths will know what that means and what that looks like. Beginners may be confused by my commentary. When caterpillars shed their skin, their head basically pops off and they crawl through the opening and leave their old skin behind. And when their old head looks kind of like it's getting really small and uncomfortable and like inflated, then that's when they typically shed their skin soon. This is instar 1, I can tell. This is number 1. fully grown, fully developed. But there's some larvae that are already the second life stage. Because when they shed their skins, they really have they immediately have like a bigger body right away, like a huge growth spurt, a larger skin, a bigger exoskeleton. I do believe that we have one larva. Yeah, let me get some zoom on this guy, sorry. It's a bit awkward to film this because they are relatively small still. See that big larva? That one is absolutely a second life stage, instar 2. While the tiny one up there is instar 1. These are insane caterpillars, aren't they? Wow. I hope that I can pull this off. I think my fans are gonna love a MothCycles episode of this crazy species. Wow. It's really so cool, man. That's so cool. Look at it. So epic. One, I'm happy with their development so far, guys. Really lovely. This is a fan favorite. This is another species that people have been asking me for years. So you're like, please Bart, can you do the lobster moth and then MothCycles? Fine. Here you go. Hope they grow well though, I need luck. Eventually I had to move them to a bigger box. It's important to keep the size of their enclosure appropriate in a proportion to the size of the caterpillars as they grow. This is the new enclosure, friends. I'm gonna upgrade the lobster moths. There you go. Gonna upgrade them to their new home. See, that's a big difference, isn't it? So the bigger the caterpillars get, the more bigger their home needs to be. It's a very simple, basic rule when it comes to breeding moths. Nothing too special. So, where do we even start? Sorry guys. So we start with seeing how they are doing in the first place, right? Are they doing well? Well, this seems to suggest that yes. Oh, sorry, too much zoom. There you go. So we do have a lot of caterpillars in here. How do we safely bring these to the other side? Once again, I'm going to use scissors to cut the leaf exactly where the caterpillars are sitting. I don't know if I've said it already in this video. Should take notes of it. So I tend to repeat myself sometimes in these long videos, but never forcefully rip caterpillars off the surface where they are sitting. This is very harmful to them. The thing about caterpillars is they have very strong feet. They kind of have like suction cups on their feet. And if you kind of rip away the larvae from the leaves where they're sitting on, then you're just gonna rip them in half. So what I do is I use scissors, I cut the leaf around where they are sitting. It's probably very hard to see this right now. Also the sun is going down, so the lighting is not optimal. But I'm just gonna cut like small ribbons of the leaves where the larvae just happen to be sitting right now, and collect them right here. Folks, I've collected all the caterpillars. I didn't show you how I did it. Well, I did in an awkward way. But showing you how I collect every individual single caterpillar is a bit boring content, and so I just skipped time as I collected all of them. I've made hundreds of breeding videos, hundreds of breeding tutorials, so all I would say is keep watching a variety of my videos if you're curious about the way I do it and it's maybe not clear in this video. I'm saying it because I feel like most of the things I do should be clear to my audience at this point. I've been making moth breeding videos on YouTube for like 8-9 years or something. I don't even measure it. 9 years, is it? So I feel like the basics are all out there. and you don't need them explained in every single video, in every new upload. I understand that every time I upload a new video it comes with probably new viewers who are attracted to it. I know there's people googling this species, the puss moth, the lobster moth. Because the lobster moth is a species with such strange caterpillars. This species goes viral once every 2 or 3 years, and there's a wave of people searching this species on Google to find out more information. This could be the first video that they stumble upon, and then maybe I'm just glossing over some basic stuff, some basic breeding stuff in this video. Which is too bad for them, but seriously, I don't feel like repeating myself too much all the time either, it's just getting tiresome. Yes guys, use scissors to cut the caterpillars off where they're sitting. I've done this dozens of times, I've shown it dozens of times. I'm tired of that. What we can say is this: they seem to be doing quite well. I have a decent amount of individuals. So you can have I don't know, I'm too lazy to count right now, but it looks like we got what is it, 20 of them or something? 15, 20 of them. Most of them are in their second life stage right now, as you can see. Getting ready for the third even. Now, very interestingly, this species can grow very fast actually if you keep them warm and in the right conditions. And these little aliens have a very rapid growth. So that's nice. And right now they're very small. Just compare this one to my fingernail. Still about the size of a fingernail right now, but I assure you they are going to grow fast. It's easy to breed if you have beech, fagus, if you have beech tree, but also something like oak tree. I think they can also eat birch and willow. Not sure. I have to verify it before I say stuff like that, but yeah, they are not so difficult to breed. So if you are a new breeder, you want to get started with this hobby and you don't want to have a normie species, Every normie breeds the Luna moth, for example, or species like that. No, you want something different. You want something crazy. Something insane and ridiculous. That's when you obtain lobster moths. Only downside is, guys, they are not easy to get. They are only offered maybe once or twice a year, sometimes never. It's because the females are rare of this species, they rarely come to light. The males are common, but typically entomologists attract moths with artificial light, and that's how they obtain breeding material. And if the females, who are the ones that carry eggs, are not inclined to come to lights, that means the species is difficult to obtain. Today I'm placing them in their bigger enclosure here that I've prepared. There's a Monster Energy. I fill it with water, guys. There's no energy drink in it. There's just water in it. And the water keeps the plant fresh, as usual. Like flowers in a vase, as I always say. Gonna use the paintbrush to scoop up the caterpillars and place them here in their new home. This is basically just a space upgrade. At the moment they are not very ventilated. They're basically just in a closed system. Now from the 4th instar and beyond I plan to add ventilation, but instar 1, 2 and 3 actually like to be humid, in my opinion. That's how I breed the lobster moth. I know everybody has different breeding methods, right? Every person has different methods for their own species, so I'm not saying this is the only way that works, right? If you have a different method, drop it in the comments. How did you breed the lobster moth? I'd like to hear your experiences. For me, the way I do it is the first life stages is I keep them very humid, very high humidity. Closed plastic boxes, and instar 4, I keep them like a semi-open container with a bit more airflow. And it's only the last life stage, number 5, that I really give an open area enclosure. Even then I still raise them in boxes with some mesh for ventilation. So breeding moths, if you want to be successful at it like I am. Sorry, is that arrogant to say, guys? Was that a display of arrogance? Let's be real though. I am good at it. I am successful at it. Is that a bad thing to say or acknowledge? If you want to get good at it like I am, don't give a fuck, I'm just gonna say it. if you want to get good at breeding moths like I am, what you gotta do is you have to have perfect control over ventilation and humidity. That's really one of the major things. Ventilation and humidity. Like, it's more important than temperatures. I noticed that most caterpillars are actually tolerant when it comes to temperatures. Like, a lot of species from warm climate can tolerate cold temperatures. And a lot of species from a cold climate can tolerate warm temperatures. But humidity, oh no. If you keep a species from a dry climate humid, or a species from a humid climate dry, you can be pretty sure you're gonna get sick and die. So it's all about humidity control, in my opinion. That's one of the most important things. And as a general rule, containers with air holes and ventilation are dry. Indoor conditions are dry. While closed boxes are humid. The plants themselves create humidity. Plants slowly dry out and release water in the environment. So if you have a box with leaves, which is a basic setup for caterpillars, it's humid unless you add ventilation. And the more ventilation you add, the more the water can evaporate slowly as the plant dries out, and you have a more dry enclosure. Truly, this species is unlike anything else on this channel. This caterpillar is eating. See that? It's literally feeding from the leaf. Must have been hungry. Yeah. They are really something different. Really weird. I cannot wait for them to grow bigger. Because that's when my fans are gonna freak out. We get some footage of the fully grown ones. I think in a few weeks they'll be fully grown. I'm not joking. This species goes fast. Generally speaking, the Notodontidae moth family can grow fast. This is not an exception. All my little aliens. I have to say, guys, I feel compassion for them. I kind of like these creatures a lot. Even though they are totally weird and bizarre, I like that. I relate to that, in fact. Behind the scenes, I struggle a lot with autism. Sometimes I struggle to function in this society that doesn't really cater for people like me. I'm a bit of an outlier. And I'm not saying this to give you a sub-story. Ah, poor Bart Coppens. Poor guy, I love his channel now. It's not like that. But I think it's the reason why I relate and why I like these creatures so much, why I have so much compassion and care and attention for them. Because for me, it feels like most of my life, you know, I've been the unwanted person in the room. The person that's not really understood, you know, my motivations and behaviors to many are bizarre. And perhaps even my appearance sometimes. And I feel like I have that in common with these caterpillars and moths. I know that sounds silly and strange, but why am I so passionate about insects? I don't know. It's because most of my life I have been the insect. I have been the weird, unwanted presence, the weird, shapeless thing, the strange, unrelatable being. That's what I've been for most of my life. I'm not saying that to complain or be a victim. Oh, poor Bart. Oh, Bart and his autism. Don't worry. I'm an adult. High school is a long time ago and I found happiness in my life. I have many people who support me, who love watching my videos. I have a very good creative outlet and even fans. I have literal fans who follow everything I do. And that's fantastic, you know, so I cannot complain. This is not me sharing a heartbreaking story to win your affection and sympathy. No, don't feel bad for me. I'm just psychoanalyzing myself here, I guess, because why am I so drawn to these animals and so passionate about them? I make hours and hours upon videos, tirelessly and endlessly. I don't know, it's because I see something of myself in them. In my essence, I am a weird, freaky caterpillar. To most people. A weird, enigmatic thing. What I also really like about insects is the fact that their behavior is predictable, you know. Insects have very textbook behavior, if you know what I mean. That means that you will rarely see an insect that doesn't behave according to what we know, you know. They always kind of exhibit similar and predictable and very directly goal-driven behaviors, you know. Their motivations are very simple and not complex. And their behaviors are very directed at one single particular predictable goal. I feel like I am also relatable in that sense, you know. Behaviorally, I am an insect. Misunderstood by many, but if you look deeper, it follows a certain, almost algorithmic kind of predictable logic. Just like me and my insect obsession, whatever I'm doing in life, I'm directing all my time and resources to this hobby, this special interest of mine that really sustains me. Just like the caterpillars who devote all their energy to feeding, growing, and metamorphosizing into a moth, and when they become a moth, they are just focused on one thing, which is mating, pairing, that's it. And the cycle is complete and it starts all over. They are very predictable. That's me. There is a piece of myself in these insects. I feel like that sometimes. Anyway, let's check back later, see if they've grown. Eventually, I had to move them from plastic boxes into cages. The early life stage is like high humidity, but as they grow bigger and older and more mature, they actually prefer more dry and ventilated environments. Quite a radical change. That's how I raise them. The babies of Stauropus fagi, in my opinion, like to be a little bit on the humid side. But when they grow bigger, they develop a desire for slightly more airy setup, in my opinion. I think they are getting there. So this is a lot of oak tree, of course, in a water bottle. Well, it's a kind of energy drink. I fill it with water. So, yes, just like that. Well, this is going to be a lot of food for them, but that's okay. This species can gain a lot of size in a short time. It's only been several days since I last seen them, but they have grown so significantly. I really think they need an upgrade. So let me show you the status right now. This is our caterpillars right now. And I want you all to marvel at them. Oh yes, very cool. There's, I think we have a good amount of them, if I'm being honest. Like, I like to annoy them sometimes. I think we must have like 20 of them or something. Yeah, these are absolutely some of the freakiest caterpillars that a breeder of moths can raise. They are a delight. So very unusual to see. So cool though. This one here has only recently shed its skin. It's sitting to its old empty skin. Probably just drying, hardening its exoskeleton. Wow. So cool to see all this progress. Man, they're awesome. Aren't they freaky, guys? They are a bit freaky, like for real. Like almost a little bit scary, don't y'all think? Come on. And here's another one. This one is still about to shed its skin. Very cool. Wow. Total weirdos and aliens. Sorry if my fingers are a bit dirty, guys. I have been gardening today. Total weirdos and aliens. What? I'm sorry, guys, if my hands are a little bit dirty, alright? I've been gardening today. But wow. Such a weird beast. Absolutely weird. Man. Recommended species, guys. Recommended species. Go breed this one if you want something absolutely crazy, seriously. Look at how it moves. What the... Alright folks, it's time for me to take this branch with crazy caterpillars and place it in their new home, their new enclosure. I just hope they'll like it. From what I understand, they like to be open and airy like this once they hit the 3rd or 4th life stage, which is just about now. Let's make sure they can find the fresh leaves and start feeding. And then we should be golden. Being successful with this species often hinges on 3 things: fresh food, strict hygiene, and the right humidity. When it comes to temperature, they are not so picky. Actually, you can rear them warm, you can rear them cold. They are pretty strong. But yeah, they do want to be humid as babies and then a little bit more airy and ventilated when they are just about this size. Keep the enclosure clean. Remove droppings and frass every few days. You can use a lot of food plants. I tend to use beech or oak tree. So yeah, let's hope they make it. It would be awesome to have this as a life cycle. They were becoming quite mature, but we aren't there yet. So I checked back a few days later. Beautiful people. Beautiful people still tuning into my show. I am lucky. I am lucky to have you. So, some relevant data. It is currently the month of August. In the Netherlands, my home country, this is the hottest month of the year. For some reason, a lot of people think I'm Brazilian. I worked in Brazil and I made a lot of videos in Brazil, but I travel a lot for my YouTube channel. But my home country is the Netherlands. I'm a Dutch person. So, it's looking great. What I'm gonna do is... ooh, the water has evaporated. The water has evaporated. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use these scissors. I'm gonna use these scissors to collect all the larvae that are sitting here on the branches. After showing you close up, of course. I was telling you about the month of the year because it's relevant to the rearing. The warmer it is, the faster they grow. This species can grow relatively fast if it's warm outside, so yeah. Month is August. And it's been like 30, 20 degrees Celsius every single day. So this is the best month for breeding, well, these absolute freaky aliens. Let me just harvest them. I'm using scissors to clip them off the leaves where they are sitting. Carefully, of course. This is how you raise this species. There you go. Ah yes. Their appearance is starting to get quite ridiculous. Now this one here is in the final life stage. I can tell because I have no life whatsoever. I have no life. I spend all my time looking at caterpillars. That's basically my whole life. I don't sleep, I don't eat. I refuse to move out of my mom's basement. All I do is just raise caterpillars all day. So I can instantly look at them and say, well, this is the final instar. So, I think this one just molted, judging by the color of its legs. And it's absolutely insane, isn't it? What a freak. I wonder how many we have of these. If the caterpillars are molting soon, here we're looking at a caterpillar that's the 4th life stage, that is almost ready to shed its skin to the 5th. Very important not to disturb it when they are molting. I can tell because of the head capsule, when the caterpillar molts, basically it's gonna shed its old face, its old head capsule, and it's awkwardly sitting on top here. If you see this, then you know this caterpillar is going to shed its old skin. So you have to be careful. Never, guys, never rip the caterpillars off forcefully, never. Use scissors to cut around the branches where they are sitting. Just like this. Cut the branch. There we go. You have to do this really carefully with respect. Alright, caterpillars are very soft and vulnerable. Now if we cut this. Yeah, there we go, it should come loose. And now we can just hold the stick with the caterpillar on it. This is how you safely do it. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna collect all the caterpillars from these leaves, and we have a lot of them and they tend to be well camouflaged. So this is going to take some time. So I've decided I'm not gonna show you the whole process, alright? I'll just show you the concept of what I'm doing each time, but yeah. I don't want this video to drag on for ages. But yeah, I'm gonna give them new and fresh food plant today. Bother the caterpillar a little bit. What they will do is it will stick up its legs like this and threaten us, right? Look at it. This larvae is essentially, it's threatening us. Well, not now. Currently it's just walking around. But did you see that? That was a threat pose. This is a threat pose, see? Now, I don't like to harass my pets, right, for views, but yeah, this is an educational video. And just to show you, this is why they have those long legs. At least that is my theory. That is most entomologists. Look. This is the theory of most entomologists. And it's possible that this is very intimidating. It may look like a spider or a scorpion or other dangerous animal with long legs, as you can see. See that? Oh yeah, and generally caterpillars are pretty passive creatures. There's not many caterpillars that will, some of them will try to run away or fall to the ground and camouflage themselves in the leaf litter. You know what I'm saying? There's not many caterpillars who have like a threat pose to try and intimidate. So yeah, it could have something to do with the evolution of these very unusual legs. Yes, guys, I'm saying evolution. I know it's controversial nowadays. I get a lot of comments, people saying, well, Bart, God created them. Well, that's your opinion. I am 100% subscribed to the idea of evolution. In fact, I don't think it's disputed, to be honest. It's not subjective or something. It is objective reality. There is plenty of evidence for evolution. As much as there is for stuff like gravity and chemistry. You can observe it. Anyway, maybe that's a different discussion for a different video that I'm gonna... Oops, sorry. That's a different discussion for a different video that I'm gonna make in the future, perhaps, but... Yeah, I got a bit off topic there. It's important, though. Anyway, these larvae are absolutely crazy. Look at that. So strange, eh? Caterpillars. My opinion, this species is not difficult to breed. If I had to give it a difficulty rating, I mean, there are some moths in this world who are very difficult to breed, and you essentially have to be an expert to breed them. And there's beginner species who are very easy. So how difficult is this one? If I had to put it on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd say the difficulty is maybe a 4 or a 5, which means not difficult at all, which means actually on the easy side. That being said, it's not a total beginner species. Like if you are completely new to this hobby, I wouldn't recommend it as your very first species, but yeah. If you've raised 1 or 2 beginner species, then you are ready to breed these. The trickiest part is just the first instars, because the first life stages are very small. And the eggs are very small. And sometimes it's tricky to get a pairing of the adult moths. Comes down to luck in some cases, but yeah, generally it's in my opinion a rather easy species. You won't have much trouble trying to breed this cool insect. One thing they don't like is extremes, alright. So I'm from the Netherlands and this species is native in my country, yeah. This is a species from Europe and I think also Europe and small parts of temperate Asia also. So that means, yeah, a temperate climate. They don't want extremely hot or tropical conditions. They just want like a gentle European summer. No extremes, not extremely dry, not extremely hot. Maybe slightly on the humid, sunny, warmish side, but yeah, they're easy. Let me collect some more of these larvae. There you go. They are very well hidden, so you need to look very carefully where they are at. There you go. Carefully not to cut any of them with the scissors, right? You have to be aware. Find them, I place them in this little container here. I'll show you soon. How many of them have we got? We have a good amount. Usually I like to make a close-up with the larvae sitting on my head, but we have one issue. Like many of them are in the process of soon shedding their skins. That makes them really vulnerable in this moment, so maybe I took the wrong time to make this update video, but yeah. It's important to give them fresh food, so I need to clean them regardless. But if anybody is watching this video right now who has more experience with moths, I think they can confirm for me in the comments. Do you guys agree that most of these caterpillars are like in the process of molting? I say yes. So yeah, I don't want to disturb them too much and too hard at the moment. That would be bad for them. It's a really vulnerable moment in their life and they're already kind of starting to fight. See? Some of them are already fighting. So this kind of stress is not good for them. So instead of just, you know, showing them off, I'm just gonna focus on placing them in their new container ASAP. Alright? Concept is still the same, and this is a method I basically use for like 60% or 70% of all the species I raise. Raise the babies in a plastic box, and when they grow bigger, raise them in a pop-up cage made from netting. This is filled with water to keep the plant fresh. I'm gonna add some fresh oak tree to the water here. They like oak tree. It's not the only plant you can use, guys. You don't have to copy everything I do. If you want to breed moths the way I do, it's also important that you educate yourself as a viewer, okay? Don't blindly copy my setup. There's other stuff they eat, I just like to use oak. Oak tree, put it inside the enclosure. There we go. Let's get the dirt out. And then we shall introduce the caterpillars in here very soon. I think they're ready for it. Alright then, very quickly I will show you all the larvae, but not for too long, alright? Because they're already starting to make a mess and a chaos. Thing is, handling them is a necessary evil, guys. I don't just do it for views, alright? I mean, yeah, I make YouTube videos for views and stuff, but at the same time, handling them is inevitable since they are my pets, you know, and I do need to take care of them, and I can't do that without touching them, so yeah. They are in a vulnerable state of molting. I don't feel like messing around. So yeah, I'm gonna take the larvae and I'm gonna put them back here in the food plant where they belong. Hopefully they'll start eating. So beautiful. Don't worry guys, I'll show a better close-up later. So after they molted, they're in the final instar, and that's when they become the most spectacular, alright? So for those really the coolest close-ups and stuff, you gotta wait. You gotta wait for them to really enter the final life stage, which should be like in 1 or 2 days time. It's gonna be real good. Silly beasts. They really are silly. Everything about them is kind of silly, man. They can walk really fast. It's kind of crazy if you ask me. Look at that. Oh. As a species, they're kind of grumpy too. Like, they don't like each other's presence too much. As you can see. Kung Fu fighting. Don't fight, guys. Come on now. Silly beasts. Wow, I love nature. Fascinating, eh? Well, here we go. Another fan favorite species. One by one will we breed all the cool species of moths that I can get my hands on. I listen to all your suggestions, okay? I just need time. These videos take a long time to make. And then I check back a few days later. Procedure as usual. We know the drill, right? Yoink. Gonna collect all the larvae. Let's see. Well, folks, here we go. A handful of lobster moths. Folks, here we go. A handful of lobster moths. Have you ever seen this insanity? Oh, I know some of my viewers are just gonna freak out when they see this. And let's be real, it is freaky. They are freaky. They're the most alien aliens that I've reared. Yo. So cool. So yeah, this is what it looks like, and this is how you can breed the lobster moth if you are interested. Whoa. Not sure why they keep fighting though. They really don't like each other, it seems. They're kind of grumpy caterpillars, all things considered. Man. So silly. And then I check back a few days later. Interestingly, why the caterpillars have evolved to look like this is still sort of a mystery to scientists. But one thing is for sure, they are masters of camouflage when they sit still. Their weird contorted shape looks exactly like a dead leaf or a broken tree branch once they are resting. Personally, I would not notice a caterpillar like this if I walked past it, because of their strange shape. People expect them to be conspicuous, but this is not true. Their camouflage is actually quite excellent if they don't move. Eggs really look inconvenient or strange. And I'm convinced that they are an inconvenience if it comes to walking around and locomotion. The most popular theory is that the legs have a defensive function, and I'm inclined to agree. I'm not sure how it works. Maybe their spider or scorpion-like appearance scares enemies away. Maybe birds are just spooked by their unusual appearance in the first place. Birds are easily spooked by new shapes that they don't recognize. Perhaps the wiggly long legs divert attacks away from the face. Who knows, to be honest? Guys, I have good news. The caterpillars are growing really well. And I'm gonna collect them probably for the last time. Because I'm going to give you a spoiler alert already. I was checking the cage this morning and I found some cocoons. Some of the caterpillar have spun cocoons. So that's made me very happy. You know, it made me happy in a difficult time. I just had one of the worst weeks in my whole life. I'm not kidding. And in moments like that, it's the moths that make me happy. That kind of bring me comfort. Where things around me are crumbling. Sounds dramatic. It is dramatic. Should I tell you what happened? I don't know. I don't like YouTubers who overshare their personal life. And on this channel I've made some really personal videos in my life before, but maybe 2 or 3. But I've also made close to 2,000 moth videos. So if you think about in terms of percentages, I don't make personal videos that often. Maybe 1% of my videos are personal. And what goes on behind the scenes, of course, I don't always share it. Should I share it? Do you guys feel like I'm going to regret it if I share really personal stuff? Because weird people and stalkers can also watch this video. I use that information against me. Probably. I'm not sure. Have you ever had to call the police on your own parents? I've been there a few weeks ago. An argument between my mom and dad got out of hand. And my dad hit my mom, so much that she was bleeding. And I had to call the police. It was a total shock because my parents have never been abusive. When you hear it like this, you would think, Bart, are you from an abusive household? Is there family drama? The answer is no. All my life, my parents have been perfect model parents. They've always had some ups and downs in their life. They have their flaws as a person, so does everybody. But even for me, it was unexpected. That was for me a shock, because my life has always been pretty vanilla, actually. You know, some people who come from broken homes who every day have to deal with violence or abuse. Of course, I'm not implying that that's better, that's worse. But it also means that for me it was a total shock. I didn't see it coming. I didn't know it would ever come this far. So yeah, the police had to intervene. And then, the same week, my grandmother died. In the same week. So imagine. But that's not all. After the funeral of my grandmother, my sister, who is bipolar, was found to have cheated on her boyfriend, who is my brother-in-law, I guess. They've been together for 15 years, since high school. And she had an affair with some other guy who was recently released from prison, apparently. Now, it sounds like I'm making this shit up. I'm not. Like, this is literally what's going on in my life right now. And I'm telling it very casually, without much emotion. I'm not one of those YouTubers who likes to stir up emotions for sympathy. I'm not gonna be like, woo! Oh guys, what happened is so terrible. You know, I'm not that kind of YouTuber. Things have been rough, and I feel like I trust my community enough. I feel like I trust you guys. After me making videos for dozens of years, I finally trust you guys enough to share this stuff. I hope I'm not going to regret it, because I do want my channel to be about insects and entomology. I don't want this to be the Bart Coppens private life video channel. Generally speaking, like, I don't share on this channel who I am dating, you know, my love relationships, but also family stuff. I keep it behind the scenes. But I really feel like today I just had to vent. Or maybe there's no other people to vent to except for my YouTube audience. Now I understand I am sharing some very intimately private stuff about some very private persons and people. People who have even been in my channel, on my videos. I mean, everybody knows who my mom is and who my dad is. And if they probably would not be happy with me sharing this, but I'll say this, fuck it. That's the consequences of your actions, you know. I'm not going to keep everything a secret because it's shameful. It's shameful that it happened in the first place. And me sharing it publicly on YouTube, you can see it perhaps as a form of punishment. So I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that shit doesn't happen. Yeah, what can I say except that my family has issues, guys. We all have issues. So do I. But the good news is I don't hurt people. I am not somebody who goes around cheating or scamming. So, moral of the story, it's okay to be crazy. It's okay to be crazy if you don't harm people. That's my opinion. Don't hurt people, really. That's the main rule of life. Don't be a douchebag. If you want to be crazy like me and devote your life to breeding moths on YouTube, yeah, that's a crazy thing to do. It's also a crazy life decision. It's a crazy career. I am crazy. I'm crazy for devoting my life to something with so little economical value and basically wasting my time here when I could be making a career or working or fixing my life, fixing my finances, getting my shit together. But I'm just here raising... It is a kind of pathology. But the point is it doesn't hurt anyone except myself, right? It's my choice, my hobbies. You know, it's nobody else's business. I do with my free time whatever I want. You have nothing to say about it. So long as you don't hurt other people, right? If you guys have a mental problem, please get help. Please talk to somebody. I think stuff like this happens when we have problems in our lives, you know? And we struggle to communicate. Stuff like violence or cheating, it happens when there's frustrations piling up and there's no outlet, you know. It's like a kettle that's boiling, it's building up pressure until the pressure comes out. Prevent it from happening, prevent it from getting to a point, you know. Please talk. If you deal with mental issues like maybe you are bipolar, maybe you are depressed, you are manic, please reach out and ask for help, guys. One of the things my mother taught me is to talk about my feelings and my emotions, and it's the best thing that my mom could have taught me. Because I see so many people who are stuck in life, who are stuck in trauma that is not addressed, because they don't have somebody to talk to, or they have no way to express themselves. And expressing yourself is what I think it's a vital thing, really. Self-expression, saying how you feel, it's essential for your mental health. It's essential for happiness. If you are somebody that keeps the trauma inside, don't do that. Anyway, yeah, my life has been terrible this week, and I wasn't planning to share it on YouTube, but I guess it just organically happened. I wasn't planning, but I was just talking into the camera and I just felt like letting it out. I really hope I'm not going to regret giving my viewers this private information. If people react to it weirdly or badly, or, you know, people going to start sending me private messages now asking about more questions about what's happening. Not sure if I would like that idea. I still want the focus of this channel, like I said, to be insects, entomology, the passion that we share for nature and for insects. That's the real reason I made this channel. Sometimes I will tell you interesting tidbits and snippets of what's happening with my life, but I also don't like to, you know, I don't like to go all the way and shift all the focus on me and my problems. I hope that this requires a kind of nuance that my audience has and understands. I understand sometimes I have young viewers or maybe viewers who are more socially inept, who don't understand these boundaries and social cues. This is not your cue to dig into my life and investigate private information, but this is me sharing something that was on my heart. It was weighing heavy on my heart, and I just feel like I have to share it. Hope you guys get me mature about it. Anyway, sorry for dumping heavy stuff. I don't like when people talk about trauma dumping. I think that's I mean, bringing up heavy stuff like that does warrant maybe, if you know somebody is sensitive to that kind of topics or conversation, it may warrant informed consent. But I think we are going too far in a society where people don't talk about depression, people don't talk about traumas, people don't talk about mental issues, people don't talk about what they are dealing with and struggling with. People are lonely, alone and isolated. So in a society like that, I only support and encourage people to talk more. And I think a term like trauma dumping, it discourages people from sharing, and that's a bad thing, I tell you. Ever seen a cocoon of a lobster moth? They are actually hard to find. So in nature what they do is they burrow themselves in leaf litter and debris. Aha! So this thing right here, this leaf seems to be glued to the surface. And if there was a way to gently open it, there is the caterpillar inside, and there's a dilemma here because opening the cocoons when a caterpillar is pupating is generally not a good idea. But the problem is these cocoons are on the floor and I need to place the bottle with water here. So that's one issue, you know, I need to be able to place my water bottle here so they can pupate. This is dangerous for them, they're gonna get squished, so I need to collect the pre-pupa. Even though I don't like doing this, it's not optimal, but I need to collect them. I wish there was a way for me to collect the cocoon without destroying it, but there isn't. Anyway guys, I'm a pro, I know what I'm doing. I know how I can kind of make an artificial cocoon for them to pupate in. This is gonna sound silly, but yeah. So these three larvae, they are basically pupating, they are immobile. They just lay like this, completely helpless, on the floor, until they shed their skin and pupate. The way I end up making artificial cocoon is with wet tissue paper. I place the larvae in here, and this soft material, which is humid, it's friendly for them. It's nice and soft, just like the silk of a cocoon. I'm just kinda gonna tuck them in a little bit. Believe me, it works wonders, and they will actually pupate in this if we keep them in here. I did find a cocoon just now that is intact, that is not opened or broken. So that's great if you can find a cocoon that you don't have to break open. That's great, don't open it. I only opened those other cocoons because I really had to remove those larvae. Otherwise they would get squished when I placed the water bottle on it. I think this is potentially the last time I have to feed them. I think after this most of them will have cocoon. They are all very close. Already found 4 cocoons, so yeah, in a few days all of them will go. That's what I think. Let's put here, this is fresh oak tree. Oak tree is a good choice for the species, they like oak. But honestly, you can use many plants. I think they really also love beech, hazel, maybe even chestnut, the real chestnut. I'm not talking about horse chestnut. And I think they can also take willow. And at the end of the video I will end a list of host plants. So make sure to watch the final part where we always do some ecology. Make sure. This is important information for breeding as well. I do have some caterpillars left. Take a good look at them because this is probably the last time you'll see them in this video. Very cool. Their legs are crazy. Hope this video will be popular and that many people will view it and share it. It does seem that for one reason we have one caterpillar that has lost his legs. Poor thing, I don't know how it's done that. Maybe it got stuck when it's shedding its skin, it happens sometimes. Kind of struggles to walk, but it seems to be fully grown, so it'll hopefully grow into a moth because of my good care anyway, despite its disability. Wow. A lot of people are freaking out at these caterpillars when I show them. Some people literally scream. I guess I can see how they are terrifying, in a way. If I didn't know what it was, if I had no knowledge about insects and I saw this in nature, then I would probably also freak out. They are really beautiful. This is the maximum size. They don't grow bigger than this, really. This is completely fully grown. Days away from spinning cocoons. Very cool. This is one of the coolest moths, really. Sorry if it's taken many years for me to finally film the life cycle. I'm a very busy man, and filming these life cycles is very difficult. You know, it has a very long production time. Some of these videos take 6 months to film or more. So I can only make a few episodes of this series per year. It takes much time, so it takes a long time to film all the classic species. To make a life cycle video of many famous moth species that are still missing. For example, the Atlas moth, Attacus atlas. People still asking me, Bart, why is the Atlas moth freaking missing? I can't believe it. Or how about the rosy maple moth, Deocampa rubicunda? People have been asking me now for 8 years to make a breeding tutorial on the rosy maple moth. The Atlas moth, the rosy maple moth, what else is there missing? Well, how about the robin moth, Hyalophora cecropia? People asking me, Bart, where's the breeding tutorial on the robin moth? Well, I'm struggling with them. They are difficult species, and every time I try to make a tutorial, sometimes they don't grow well. That's annoying because they only have one brood a year, and often it's too late to obtain new eggs or cocoons to try again. There's the Spanish moon moth. There's the death's head hawk moth. I'll try to make a tutorial on that very soon. It's probably going to be out before I release this video, because those grow very fast. This species will probably have to hibernate this year because it's August and the last brood stopped flying in nature, I think. This is the end of when you can see moths in the wild, so I think these cocoons are going to hibernate. Spanish moon moth, Geelsia isabella. I bred it a few times, but I still haven't made a tutorial. There's a lot of popular and famous species missing on my channel. And it's for one reason. It's really because filming this stuff takes insane amount of time, and there's just too many species, you know. Moths are very diverse. And I'm doing it worldwide, like I'm filming species from Asia, from North America, from Europe, and I love filming these videos because I love breeding moths. It's the biggest passion in my life, you know. But it takes so much freaking time. It could take 5 to 10 years before I have a video on all of these species, you know. Like, Bart, when are you gonna breed the monarch butterfly? Bart, when are you gonna breed the tiger swallowtail? Bart, when are you gonna breed this and that? When are you gonna breed the tomato hornworm? Like, yeah, I'm working on it, but there's so many species I can't keep up, you know. It's gonna take me decades to film all of them. Breeding moths is not always easy. It comes with its own challenges too. So like, before I get all of those species down here on this channel, it could take a while, you know. But I am working on it, so please do not worry. All I ask is your patience, even if the patience may take years. I'm very happy that people are asking for new videos, because it means they like my channel and they love watching. You know, I think in terms of moths, I'm definitely probably the most popular channel in terms of like having a hardcore fan base, you know. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 bigger channels who make moth videos, but I think they just make more clickbaity stuff for big public, not really special, specific stuff like this. It's not very elaborate. Most of them are just uploading TikTok shorts and YouTube reels, you know. I mean, technically they are bigger moth channels than me, but like the content is a bit slop. For the real moth nerds like us who need long and elaborate videos, I think there's not much other alternatives. So, but guys, you have me, I'm here, I'm gonna be making videos forever. Just be patient, friends, that's all I'm asking. Just be patient. Your favorite species are going to be online if you are going to be patient, and I will breed all of the moths. So I'm gonna add some leaf litter. I noticed this species really like to make cocoons on the floor of their enclosure, so I'm gonna give them these leaves and hopefully they will make a cocoon in the leaves instead of on the freaking container. I don't like having to open the cocoons, it's not optimal. It's much better if I can just harvest the whole cocoon that's intact, you know. I don't like having to break it open, it's not the best. Now, they can grow into moths perfectly fine without the silk cocoon. The silk cocoon is not essential to their life, you know. In nature, the silk protects the pupa from the elements like the cold and the rain. It stops it from freezing or drowning, and of course it stops predators from getting in and out and eating the pupa. So yeah, in nature the cocoon is essential protection. I don't think that in nature an empty pupa, a naked pupa with no silk cocoon would survive. But this is not nature, this is captivity, and I'm here to help. And indoor I can make sure that it is humid enough and warm enough and not too dry for the pupa. I can even put them back inside the cocoon of another species to give them a silk protection. So don't worry about it, that's not a big concern. Although yes, it would be preferable if I can keep them inside the cocoons. I don't like taking them out unless I have to. Unless I feel obliged to. But just right now I felt obliged. It's dangerous to have them spin cocoons on the floor. So like I said, the water bottle has to be placed there, and because of its weight, if it shifts, it's just crushing or squishing the cocoons. And I can't allow that to happen. I have to take good care of my animals. Also, the cocoons and pupa have to hibernate, I think, at least in August. They have several broods per year. They don't always hibernate, but it's currently late summer, and I don't think they're gonna turn into moths anymore this year. And yeah, for hibernation it is slightly better to have them in the cocoon than just to have a completely exposed pupa. But it's okay, I'll have to add more material to insulate them and keep them safe. I'll show you the hibernation too. Really take a good look at this beauty. It's one of the miracles of nature. This is one of the most strange caterpillars, and I'm very happy to be here showing you the whole life cycle, so all the moth nerds and bug freaks and entomology people can just enjoy this video, have hours of footage of this beauty. I know some people cannot travel to see species like this, or you live in a country where it's illegal to import a non-native exotic foreign moth species, so you don't have an option to see them in the wild. So that's where my channel comes in, because of my channel you are able to see them in high definition. Of course it's cooler to see them in real life than on the internet, but it's the second best thing if you can afford it, so I think it's important. I think it's important to show people cool bugs, to foster an interest in all things crazy on this planet, all things unexplored, all things that get very little attention, that are, you know. We need to promote the miracles and wonders of this world a bit more. We need to be more intimate with them and explore them and feel them and see them and film them in high definition. It's important, friends. It's important, that's what I'm doing. And I hope it inspires people to investigate these creatures more and care about them more. Oh, let's put you all back. Enjoy munching on the leaves. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Lobster moth breeding tutorial. plus too much private information, plus too many shots of my armpits. I probably should wear different clothing when I make these videos, but I'm authentically my weird, gross self. Thanks for watching. We are making progress, and I'll be very happy if we can bring these creatures to the moth stage. The moths of this species are interesting to look at. They are not as bizarre as the caterpillars, but they are worth some filming. Let's go. And then I had some good news. They became pupa. Let me show you what that looks like. Alright guys, it's gooning time. I'm gonna collect all the cocoons and pupa that I can see in the pre-pupa. So first, let me show you all this. Yep, this is gonna be some of that awkward footage. Not very professional, I know. Just hand holding the camera. So first of all, the first caterpillars, remember when I found them and made like what I call an artificial cocoon for them with moist paper towel. It seems like it worked pretty well because I'm actually getting some pupa of them so far. That's great news. Now if you're wondering what do the pupa look like of the lobster moth, lots of people aren't very curious about pupa, but I can be sometimes. So also one of the caterpillars has spun a cocoon in here on the side. See that? Now that's wonderful. I think this is already 3 pupa. I think there's more in here. That's great. All 4 of them have pupated. So let's look in here to see if there's more cocoons. Undoubtedly there are. They're typically glued to the floor. Here's one. There you go. I think this even has a pupa in it or not? I don't know, we can only find out by opening it. You have to do this really carefully. Gently. There you go. Sorry, this is hard to film with one hand. Yep. And that's another pupa. Great news. Also found another pre-pupa, which I'm gonna place into this box. It's gonna pupate for me. Oh, now these guys are gonna turn into some really amazing moths. My fans can finally see the lobster moth life cycle. I noticed that people love this species a lot, so people have been waiting for a long time. I think this one wants to pupate also, so we should help it. Another pre-pupae. Well, let me place it in here. It's gonna cocoon. It's gonna cocoon for me. Trust me, it is. It really is going to. Or, there you go. One more. Yoink. Lots of pre-pupa, lots of pupating caterpillars, guys. So these are 2 of my last caterpillars right now. So when these make a cocoon, say goodbye. Say sayonara. Because there's gonna be no more footage of these freaks. But the good news is then we'll transition to the footage of the insane and weird looking moths. Which is I know what you're excited for at this point, because let's be honest, I show you these caterpillars dozens of times. Yes, they are cool, they're probably the reason you clicked on this video was to see the crazy caterpillars, but now we are ready to complete that awesome transformation. So cool. It's wonderful if you ask me. It's one of those species that my fans have been asking for ages. Bart, can you please do the lobster moth? Well, fine. I will, because you asked for it. And looks like we're successful. Guys, I'm gonna film all the popular species, alright? People keep asking me, Bart, can you film the Spanish moon moth? Can you film the Hercules moth? Can you film those hard to get birdwing butterflies? But also stuff like the lobster moth, the potato or tomato hornworm. There are so many species, the imperial moth, the rosy maple moth. Oh guys, I am working on it. Bart, can you breed the atlas moth? I still haven't made an atlas moth tutorial. Truth is, there's just too many species, okay? There's so many. There's like 215,000 species of butterflies and moths, I think. Give or take. And it's gonna take me a long, even to just film all the common and iconic and popular species, man, it's gonna take me years. I've been doing this for like 8 years, and I'm just getting started. Just give me the time, okay? I will breed all of them, just give me the time. Anyway, we'll see the moths somewhat soon. Well, not soon. I think they have to hibernate, but for the viewer it will be soon, because you don't have to wait all those 6 months of winter, but I do. Thank you for watching the best moth and butterfly channel on YouTube. Let me show you what happened next. Guys, I hope you all really enjoyed seeing that crazy footage of these alien caterpillars. See, on my channel, when I film a species for MothCycles, I pretty much aim in one single video to make the best possible footage of every life stage. You're gonna see everything. You're gonna see the caterpillars, the cocoons, the pupa, the moths, everything. No stone will be unturned. No question will be unanswered. All your curiosity about an insect, like wow, I just found this really cool moth species online. Let's look it up on Bart's channel if he's raised it. Oh, he did! And boom, high definition footage, all the life stages, everything. And that is how I outcompete other channels. Because you'll see a lot of clips on the internet of certain moth species, you know. People who casually filmed one and uploaded it to YouTube. But on this channel you're getting like the full meal ticket. You're getting everything. So yeah, in terms of these lobster moths, I think we made a lot of excellent footage of these caterpillars feeding, growing, doing their thing. But now it's time to end it, because all the caterpillars have nearly pupated, it seems. So I'm going here to look for the cocoons, if I can find any additional cocoons, because I think we had, last time I checked there were 3 more caterpillars that didn't make a cocoon. And they should have made a cocoon in here somewhere. Ah, I think I'm just now finding some of them. They typically hide on the floor. So in nature this species cocoons on the forest floor and leaf litter, I believe. Yes, so here is a nice wine red pupa of the lobster moth. Great. Those other caterpillars that are pupating, remember them? Ha! Well, this one seemed to have spun a fully fledged cocoon. I think the pupa slid out of here. Aha! More clues. So there's some pupa here at the bottom. So here's my pupa and cocoon so far. I have to be really honest with you. It's actually slightly less than I anticipated. It seems that we have 10 individuals. That's not great actually. I was hoping to get way more than 10. I'm not sure why, but in the final stage when they started to pupate, some of them did not pupate properly. So there were a few losses in pupation. That's a shame, but still with 10 pupae we can potentially get them mating. The thing is, all I need is 1 male and 1 female to mate, and then you get like 100 eggs. So if we can even get 1 male and female to do the deed, then the breeding project was successful still. I was disappointed with only 10 pupa, to be honest. Like, I expected a much greater result. When I started this project, I was hoping to get like 15 or 20 cocoons. But some of them just did not pupate properly. Now the pupa of this species are very oily and shiny. That's a funny trait. I removed most of them from their cocoons and respective pupa, except for this one. This one is still in the silk cocoon. That's because almost all of them made the cocoons on the bottom of their enclosure and I just had to open them. So these are the lobster moth pupa, very shiny for some reason. I'll be honest with you guys, I was a little bit disappointed just right now. I was imagining we would get way more pupa than this. But it is what it is. You can kind of hear the disappointment in my voice. I wanted a bigger, higher number of moths from this breeding project. But it's not over yet. If we can get these to pair. I don't know if the moths are gonna come out this year or next year. I think they're gonna hibernate. It's currently August and that's very late for them. I don't think they're gonna come out anymore. But I'm gonna keep them indoors just in case. See if there will be moths coming out. If not, they will hibernate until next spring and then we get our mothies next spring. Yeah, it's a shame. But if we get a mating, then I'll be happy. Then I'll forgive this blunder. Because that means we will have literally hundreds. And then it doesn't matter anymore. So, it would have been nice though. To have like just a visually higher number of moths. It looks cooler, it's cooler. So, yeah. Let's move on. The ecology of this species is interesting because you never really know what's going to happen with the pupa. This species tends to hibernate as pupa, but it also tends to vary if they have 1 or 2 broods per year. You see, this species tends to judge its environment, and if it thinks that it's warm enough, it will produce a second brood. But if it thinks that winter is coming or the season is perhaps more unfavorable, then the pupa will hibernate. And if you're a fan on my channel who watches many of my videos, you've seen me hibernate pupa of European moths and butterflies many times. Many species actually have a mandatory hibernation, but in some species it is more flexible, there's more plasticity to it, while in other species it is always obligate. Now I'll talk in the end of this video more about the broods of the lobster moth and their flight times, but I was quite surprised to see that just after a few weeks, one of the first moths was coming out. I hadn't even removed the pupa from the box I put them in, because I didn't expect to see the moths this quickly. But there you go. My apologies for 3 things. First of all, my apologies for the fact that the best enclosure I could find was a bit dirty. Hope you guys don't mind. I used it many times, yeah. And it's been outdoors. But it's still perfectly functional, the moths really don't care. See, moths, they produce this kind of a pigment. A substance called meconium. And it stains these pristine white enclosures. It looks dirty, but it's not as dirty as it looks. This thing hasn't been used in half a year. It's just very hard to get the pigment out. But yeah, so what are we gonna do with that enclosure? I'll show you that in a few seconds. But first, I gotta apologize for the second thing. It's being sweaty. I'm a sweaty boy lately. And that's because it's currently very hot. It's 31 degrees in the Netherlands. It doesn't get that hot very often. Whew. Allow me to cool down. Maybe that's the third thing to apologize for. Being a filthy consumerist. I bet you're jealous, aren't you? I know. You must be so jealous right now. It's okay. Let me have this. I'm a loser, I need it. Don't have much going on with my life. Apart from moths. Actually, that's not true. But you know what? I like my viewers to think of me as pathetic. So they underestimate me. There's a saying, don't threaten what you will, and don't threaten what you won't. In the same sense, I believe in the philosophy, don't brag about what you do and don't brag about what you don't. I'll let you guys figure it out. Oh yeah, this video was about moths, I forgot. Anyway, I was checking the lobster moth container, you know. Just preparing these pupa for their little hibernation, you know. It's August, mid-August. And mid-August in the Netherlands is basically the end of their flight time. But I heard some noise yesterday in this container. Well, I think we all know what's about to happen. Because much to my surprise there was a moth already. And to be honest, I'm not sure if I would have kept the pupa in this plastic container if I would have known the moths would come out this soon. Like I was caught off guard. Anyway, I'm not sure if one individual here has different ideas, or if all of the moths collectively basically decide not to hibernate. Actually, the last scenario would be better, because if I just get one moth and the rest will hibernate, it's actually going to be a bad thing, because it's one moth removed from my little gene pool while the rest of them are going to mate next year. So let me grab that little camera. What? Now I could adjust this, I could cut this part out, you know, I could just like immediately cut to the moth. But I like the suspense, you know. So I'm gonna leave it in, I'm gonna relish the moment with you. So, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Maybe we have to find a stick that is willing to sit on. Let's see. Yeah, you guys like the suspense? Well, don't worry. We gotta be real. Oh, we gotta be careful because these things do fly away pretty quickly, actually. They don't like to be disturbed. It's actually a stress-sensitive species in a way, so we gotta be respectful. And this is actually a hassle. It kind of is a hassle. Oh yeah, come on, sit still, buddy. Sit still. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. Oh my God. Yep, that's just annoying. Don't fly away. Ah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here it is. One of the least cooperative moths on Earth. It is called the lobster moth. Getting this species to cooperate and be on camera has been oddly difficult, so enjoy this footage. This moth will fly away at any instant if you touch them, and there's actually a risk that mine will if I piss it off. So I'm trying not to annoy it too much. Manipulating moths in a way that they don't want to fly away is actually a tough job in a way. For each species you kind of want to know what the limits are. So here it is. Stauropus fagi, the famous lobster moth. As you can see, it's not at all a big species. It's actually kind of small. So, ladies and gentlemen, here it is, those freaky alien caterpillars. Turns out they transform into a pretty normal looking moth. This is it. This is the lobster moth. It's not lobster-like at all. The only thing that's lobster-like by any stretch of imagination are just the larvae, I guess. Now here's a fun fact. In the Netherlands, in my home country, we call this an eekhoorntje, which means eekhorn or eekhoorntje means squirrel or little squirrel. And it refers to the moth. It's a species with pretty big eyes too. Damn. Look at those big eyes. Now, I think the moths are pretty cute. I think the moths are worth it. But they're definitely not as insane. Oh great, construction work. They're definitely not as insane as the caterpillars are. It's kind of like a tiny thing, because if we zoom out, like this is its size on my hand. Not a large species by any stretch of imagination. Oh, it's gonna fly, I need to take it away. It's just in time, it already wants to fly away. This species does not tolerate being handled too much, which is a shame. Makes it challenging to make any close-ups. Wait, is it sitting still? I'm not risking it. It's a native species to my country, so if it like flies away, it's not like some environmental disaster. I just trying to breed these insects, you know, so it's not good if my moths fly away. And it's going down, so we have to be quick. But actually the moths are sitting still. This is a rare treat at the moment. For a nice close-up. Here it is. Most of the moths that I breed on my channel are large and colorful. But all things considered, the lobster moth is quite plain. It's interesting to see how such a bizarre caterpillar transforms into a rather average looking moth species. It's getting dark outside. I'm sorry for the dark close-up. The lobster moth is still unique in its own way. Its hairy tail and angular wings make it look like a tiny stealth bomber. A furry stealth bomber. Like many species on my channel, these moths do not feed. They don't even have a functioning mouth. They just mate, lay eggs and die. Let's see what happens. Pretty cool moth if you ask me. Pretty kinda normal-ish moth also. It's funny that we always make the assumption that when the caterpillars are extraordinary looking, that they have to transform into an extraordinary butterfly or moth. There's definitely species with extraordinary caterpillars and extraordinary looking moths or butterflies. But there's also boring and plain caterpillars that turn into extraordinary butterflies and moths. And there's extraordinary caterpillars that become very plain looking butterflies and moths. And then there is species, of course, with plain larvae and plain adults. Of course, plain and extraordinary is subjective. Nature doesn't really care about any of these judgments. It's just all in our mind. It's not here, it's in here. So, I'm gonna place this enclosure outdoors. The male is in it. So these moths don't feed. They only live for a few days, basically, like many of the moths I raise on my channel. A lot of them cannot even sustain themselves and just starve after a given time. It is what happens, unfortunately. But I'm gonna see if hopefully we'll get a female, because I'm pretty sure that first individual we just had, I'm pretty sure that's a male. Female is slightly kind of bigger, so, and has a bigger abdomen. So I'm really hoping we get a female now. That means we can do breeding. And then I heard a sound at night. Alright guys, it's currently in the middle of the night and I'm in my workspace for YouTube. But I noticed some movement down here. Something is trying to crawl up. And it is a new lobster moth that's just been born. Moths look very silly when they've literally just been born. Their wings are still little duds, stubs, wing stubs. They have to inflate. It's looking for a place to hang, maybe. I'm wondering if this plastic container is good enough, actually. Let's see if it will find a place to settle down. Usually they're quite picky. It's falling a lot. I'm hoping it will hold on to the stick. I've placed the stick in a different way, in a way that it hangs. I'm hoping the moth will find it. I think it will like it. It will like to... Gosh, they are so silly. You can do it. Yes, that's the place. That's the spot I made for you. Stay there, don't fall. And body. Never mind. I think it's found a place. I'm really hoping... yes! I think it's a female, guys, because the antennae are very small. I think she's going to sit here and inflate her wings, so we should check back. Now, if the wings are finished, I am immediately going to introduce her to that first male that we had. Because I wonder if he would mate with her tonight. Maybe not, maybe yes. Depends on how late they are usually active. I think if she finishes this quickly, like within an hour, then it's early enough. So that's really cool. Let's hope she does it. I don't think all the cocoons are gonna hibernate then, to be honest. I expected them to. It's almost September, guys. In nature they stop flying mid-August, so these are really late. It must be the weird climate lately. Oh my god. Yeah, don't judge me. My YouTube workspace is a mess. You know I'm a messy person. You know that. But I heard some sound in this box. Here in the middle of the night when I'm editing YouTube videos. You won't believe what I found. You have to believe me when I show it. Ho ho! Are you seeing what I'm seeing? So, my friends, it seems that not just one but two of the moths have come out at the same time, and if I look closer it almost looks like they are a male and female. I cannot believe my luck today. This is probably a very lucky moment. So here's the female. She is large. Large, healthy female. Females are kind of dull color. They are kind of like gray. I mean, the males are gray as well, but it's different. I can show the difference right now, because here we just had a male. Let me get a close-up of that beauty. Oops, sorry. And as you can see, yes, the male, he is also kind of grayish. But if you look close, you can actually notice that the male has kind of cute color patterns, kind of. Like he has a bit of yellow, a bit of orange-brown even in the middle. So this is a male, second male. They're rather colorful. Well, if I say colorful, I'm exaggerating here, guys. They are not. They're kind of still grayish. But compared to the female, yeah. See if they want to cooperate. Probably not. I'm gonna have to bring them outside, which is gonna be silly. So, guys, normally I would like make a close-up of these moths sitting on my hand or something for my viewers. But there's two reasons why I'm not gonna do that. Number one, this species is notoriously uncooperative, and if touched, sometimes you just keep moving around for ages and don't really settle. They don't really like to sit on people's hands very much. I don't know. It's just a trait that this species has. So, what I'm about to do is I'm gonna bring them outside, inside the dirty enclosure that I showed you earlier. That enclosure already has one single male. So that means that tonight this female is gonna be in there with two males. I'm really just hoping that any of those males is gonna make love to her. Wait, why am I invested in that? Well, because that means fertile offspring. That's why. I mean, I'm trying to breed these creatures, right? I'm Bart Coppens, the moth breeder. That's what I do. I breed moths. I have one of the biggest internet channels about insects and moths. And butterflies in particular. Not many people make content that I do. So, I'm gonna take them outdoors with me. Out in the middle of the night. in order to help moths get laid. Just normal Bart Coppens activities. Hey, if you are a fan of this channel, you've seen that stuff before, right? This is not new. Ooh, this place needs a cleanup. If you're wondering some of the other stuff that I'm breeding right now, I'm tempted to show it, but it would detract from my video. This is the crummy old lobster moth enclosure, really. I think I really need to order new enclosures, guys. These are on their last legs. Anyway, we can carefully open it. This species really hates being touched. I mean, moths in general are actually cool with being touched. You'd be surprised. I know how to handle them. I have a lot of experience with that. But there are some exceptions. Some of those exceptions are hawk moths, sphingids, and also these. Look, see? I touched the female just to show her to you, and she's running all over the place. That's fine. She's big. Just placing her in her new home. And then quickly closing the cage. Now let's grab that other male here. Ah, my gosh, they're already going everywhere. Don't do that, don't escape. I prefer you to stay. Where's that female? Ah, see? This species can actually run. They'll run away. Let's quickly take this out. Do I have all of them? Yes. All of them are in here. Let's close it. This species of moth does not feed. They need no maintenance whatsoever. All you have to do is just keep the males and females together in the darkness. They are a nocturnal animal, so they need darkness in order to mate. Well, I'll check back later tonight or tomorrow. So I kept them in my garden, in the darkness, in natural conditions, but I wasn't able to catch a break because very soon after, the next evening, day after, more moths were coming out. Right guys, the same thing just happened again. A male and a female came out. But they're already flying. So I cannot even show them to you much. Because they're gonna be hell-bent on escaping. Guys, I have to say I did not see any signs of the moths mating so far. Like zero. Although the female has started to lay eggs. So maybe that's a good sign, I hope so. See those yellow orbs? Those are eggs. If she has mated, then I didn't see it. Anyway, I have a new couple. I know this is not the greatest footage in the world, guys. I know. I'm aware. See, the first female is literally laying eggs. She's only 2 days old. So I'm hoping that this is the cue. My cue that the eggs are fertile. How do I know? That's because moths are usually reluctant to lay eggs if they are unfertilized. Don't get me wrong. Do moths lay unfertilized eggs? The answer is yes, they do. Yes, they do. But usually not immediately. If the female is a virgin, she's more careful about wasting her eggs. She tries to hang on to them for as long as possible, till she gets desperate. So maybe they have mated. Anyway, I have a new male and female. Our new female is actually very big. She reminds me for some reason of a leopard moth. She reminds me of a leopard moth. Yeah. Anyway, my torch is creating a very annoying interference pattern for some reason, these stripes. Anyway, that's a huge female. I'm just gonna put her in. I don't want any of them escaping. So let's put her in. I'm sorry, this is such clumsy, silly footage. I literally do this in the middle of the night. Uh-oh, when it's flying. I don't really know if I should feel optimistic or not. We have several females. The first female is laying the eggs pretty well. But I'm still concerned because I never saw any of them mating. Sorry for this awkward footage, guys. It's hard to film this kind of stuff. It's kind of difficult to work with animals that are so easily stressed out, you know, and start flying around, and they just don't allow me to come close for very long to make a nice close-up. Let me check if I really closed the enclosure. I don't want any of them like escaping. Let's see. Yeah, I closed it properly. So let's hope that they do their thing. With the new female, let's see where she is. Yeah, it's a very big female, so I hope she will mate. Here's the cocoons. Sorry guys, this is awkward. These moths are hard to film for some reason, really. So, and they keep hatching in the middle of the night. So that means I have to bring them out immediately because they only mate at night. And if I want to breed them, they have to be outdoors. I'll try to get nicer close-ups for you all later, if that's possible, at least. Let me show you what happened later. I'm sure you are curious. The lobster moth is sometimes a tough species to deal with because it's hard to know if they have mated or not. I have been breeding this species several times. This is probably the 5th time that I've ever raised them. And I just never had the time to make an episode of MothCycles about it. But no, it's not the first time I'm breeding them. Look, what a wonderful, silly creature. This is the female, she's actually very big. Really very stereotypical moth, really, when you say the word moth. What most people imagine, that's what a default moth looks like to most people. One thing that can be tricky is being sure if the moths have mated, you know, if the males and females had sex. Because they do it quickly at night, and often I don't see any signs in the morning. But what you do is you just keep the eggs when they lay a lot of eggs and see if they are fertilized. Usually if the females start laying many eggs after 1 or 2 days, it's a sign they could be fertile. So that's what I'm gonna do now. So guys, if we look at their silly enclosure, oh, the moths are already flying everywhere. Moth breeding is such a strange hobby, isn't it? If we take a look at their enclosure, we see a lot of these white yellow orbs, and those are actually the eggs. The eggs of this species are naturally a little bit dented and flat, which is a sign of infertility in a lot of species, but for the lobster moth it's not. Their eggs just... hey there. Ooh, yeah, you're getting old. Their eggs just naturally look a little bit dented, so don't throw them away because you think they are not fertile. This is normal in this species. These are pretty tough, and you can actually just use your hand to collect them. Like that. Here's the first batch. I'm hoping that they are fertile, I do not know. I'm just hoping. Incubating the eggs of this species is easy. You can do it on room temperature. They don't need much. You can just keep them in a plastic box like this. And wait. That's all you have to do. Meanwhile, most of the moths are starting to look kind of old. Like this one. And the truth is, this species ages rapidly. They don't live very long, you know. If you are lucky, your lobster moth will live for a week. Like I've always said, you have to be crazy about moths to enjoy breeding them, because they don't make for very good pets. They make for animals that live for a few days and then pass away. It's kind of tragic even. I mean, look at this one. I think this is the first female. Wow. She lost most of her wings. And that's sad, but like that's just what happens, you know? Ugh, poor little babies. They live for a few days and then the energy runs out. It's kind of sad. I do think it's actually a pretty species. I think they're pretty beautiful. Even though they are just kind of gray and brown. They have their charm, they have their charisma. Of course, the crazy caterpillar makes up for a lot of it, but it's also kind of a cute, fluffy species. It's kind of cruel how short their life is, and there's nothing we can do about it. We can just give them good care in captivity. But in my opinion, it is what makes them ethical pets, actually, and sustainable pets. Like, they don't have complicated needs, you know? It's not like some animal that has a big list of needs, and if those needs are met, it dies. No, they don't need anything. They just need an enclosure and a mate, and that's it. These moths cannot feed. They literally do not eat. They basically starve after a week. Their mouth doesn't function. They cannot eat or drink. It's physically impossible for them. And the only reason they're alive for a week is because they live off the fat reserve they built as a caterpillar. The caterpillars eat a lot and they get big and fat and they store all this energy in their body. And the moth basically burns that energy reserve that they built for themselves. So they are capable of living on for like 2 weeks. It's such a silly species though. Yeah, looks like she wants to fly away already. I should put her back soon. This species just wants to fly so quickly. I am really hoping these are fertile, because that would be mission accomplished. Our little eggies. Ooh. I was hoping to see some pairings of this species in captivity. The pairings can be difficult to witness sometimes, in my opinion. Maybe they do it really quickly in the middle of the night, when it's very hard to observe it. I think so. But let me show you what happened. Don't forget, at the end of the video I have a gift for you. But first let me show you what happened to the moths. Dear friends of the channel, I hope you all are having a fantastically fine day. I sure am. So let me tell you something, the Lobster Moth project seems to be doing quite well. I'm surprised. They're flying all over the place already. And we already collected a lot of eggs. Not sure if those eggs gonna be fertile, but I sure hope and pray that they will be. Oh yeah. This is a species that I recommend for everybody. And I mean everybody. It's a gorgeous insect with such a fascinating little life cycle. It's totally unique in the insect world. So, I was just checking the box when you know the drill by now, right? Because I noticed another moth had come out. This time it's another male. Let's just see and hope if it will cooperate this time. Probably not, it's probably just gonna fly away. That's what they do, unfortunately. Yep, it's freaking out. It seriously is one of the most annoying and difficult species to film for YouTube. I'm telling you that, like straight away. What a silly insect. Yeah. Our newest individual is a large male. No, guys, holding it like this doesn't hurt it. It's gonna go into its enclosure with its friends. It's probably gonna fly. Probably, yep. As I said, it's gonna fly everywhere. That's what they do. Yeah, we've been doing quite well with these, man. I'm pleased. So these moths are on their last legs. Well, that's not true. They seem to have a lot of energy. But they are seriously getting old. This species doesn't live long. The males will live for like a week or so, often less. It kind of looks sad, really, in a way. But you have to remember that in nature these animals only live for a few days as well. It's nothing new. It's not because of me. And all they do is mate and lay eggs and die, and then starve. All their behavior is pretty much directed at mating and finding a mate and reproducing. That's really literally a kind of all that they do. So if you think about it, I'm helping them with accomplishing the one thing. The one thing that they do in their short life, which is mating, laying eggs and dying. That's literally all they do. Mate, lay eggs and die. Mate, lay eggs and die. So I'm helping them. And there's not much else that I can do, you know. I cannot give them special care. I cannot give them a better enclosure or anything. I cannot give them food or water. Like, they don't care about any of that. They don't care about anything except mating. So silly. Despite the fact that they are very old right now, they still seem to have some energy left in them. They still have some fight left. So that's that. At this point, most of the pupa have hatched. But we still got a few of them left, so we're gonna wait for them to come out. Well, these dudes are laying more and more eggs every day. Fantastico! I'm having great fun with this species. It's making me happy, despite all of the bad things that happened in my life recently. But it cheers me up, genuinely. Alright, so this has absolutely nothing to do with lobster moths. But a very beautiful bright red dragonfly just landed close to me on the bench where I was sitting, and I just had to make a little... Oh, look at its head. It's probably watching prey in the sky that it's thinking of... Whoa, look at that. It's thinking of capturing them. Man, I love dragonflies. I am very ignorant about them. I am really highly specialized in butterflies and moths. And it shows on my channel with the crazy amount of species I've raised and the crazy amount of material I have talking about them. I've accumulated a lot of butterfly and moth knowledge. I'm more ignorant about these creatures, but I should study them more because they are some of the most fascinating insects. What a gorgeous creature! Look at it. Seems to be old. Its wings are kind of eroded. Must have made a lot of flight hours. One of the main drawbacks of being an insect is when you become fully grown, like you enter the final life stage, then usually there is no way to recover from injuries. They are permanent, right? Like if a butterfly or a moth has damage to their wings, like there is no way, they cannot grow it back, you know what I mean? They have a very limited ability to recover from even minor wounds, so all this wing tearing tends to add up over time. This is also why especially moths tend to age rapidly, because when they fly, you know, their wings kind of erode over time. I've done many videos on my channel of me studying moths in the wild. I've made videos moth trapping in Uganda and Brazil. And in some videos you can see the moths that turn up. Some of them are completely perfect looking and fresh. But sometimes we also catch a moth that's very old and damaged, and it can still fly despite missing like half the wings, and then it's just very old individual, or simply one that's been attacked. They usually don't really recover from that. Anyway, this is not a freaking dragonfly video. It's a lobster moth video with some bonus entomology content. I'm telling you, it's a beautiful species for real. Look, it keeps flying around and landing here in the same spot. I'm sorry guys, I'm so distracted. It's beautiful, wow. I imagine breeding dragonflies is very hard. I would if I could. Probably need like a greenhouse for that, with bodies of water they can reproduce in. Whoa, here it goes. I wonder if it will come back. Maybe it will. What? Are you kidding? It really likes this spot. That's amazing footage though. That's amazing footage. I wonder if it likes the red background, because it kind of blends in. Whew! I love it! I love it. You're beautiful. You're a beautiful insect, man. I wish more people cared about insects, for real. They need more love and compassion from society. They are important for the environment, man. This makes my day. What a beautiful, gorgeous insect. Oh, let's see if it will come back. Probably. Whoop. Well, it landed. Very close. Yo, I really have to stop, guys. The longer I keep filming this dragonfly, I feel like the more people are not gonna watch my content. Amazing. Amazing creature. Alright, that's enough yapping. Bart Coppens, the content slave, needs to get back to the content. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. Get back to the content. No more dragonflies, I promise. I had to. I was too tempted. I'm sorry for all this shaky footage. Just keep in mind, this is a homemade YouTube channel. I don't have $1 million Mr. Beast video production. I'm just one dude with a camera trying his best. Well, here's another one. I think this is another female. Well, we know the drill by now, don't we? Yeah, here's another one. Another female. Yep. Another beautiful. Another beautiful hairy bastard, that's what they are. Yeah, that's a female. This is actually a female. I could tell by the antennae just now. And we're gonna do the same thing over and over again. You know, we know the drill. Gotta bring this hairy bastard outside. Yes, you? That's absolutely you that we are talking about. Oh, don't be dramatic. Don't be dramatic. Silly beast. Ugh. It actually just landed on my can of Monster Energy. While I was editing a new YouTube video. Yeah, that's what I do in this messy room. I edit my YouTube videos here. But I have my box with Pupa and Cocoons with me in case one of these beauty hatches. Welcome. 0 sugar. Take a sip. Yeah, I'm gonna take you outside. Maybe you can mate and create a nice next generation. This species has a really cute face. It's a shame they're so uncooperative. Would have made for some great viral clickbait. Another top 10 cutest moth? Cute moth compilation. Sadly, that's the only stuff that really gets views. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Here we go again. I don't think this female is gonna find a mate. The males are literally dying. This is just sad. They're at the end of their life, as you can see. So we got single females, but no mate. But that's okay. I think the individuals that we already got should have mated by now. So it's okay if some of them stay single. It would be nice if we got a new male though. I would welcome that a lot. Behind the scenes I kept collecting the eggs of the moths because they were laying many eggs over and over. And I'll show you what happens to those eggs later. It usually takes about 2 weeks for the eggs to hatch on room temperature. But some more moths came out, some of the last moths. Folks, another lobster moth has come out. And this video is far from over, but I'm starting to feel like we went over the hill, you know what I mean? Thing is that at this point I only have 2 cocoons left of this species. So even though there's gonna be a few more moths, all the moths that I've been getting for the past few days have been females. And I feel like if there was going to be a point in this video where we had a mating and reproduction, it's supposed to have happened. Most of the males that I have in here are starting to die of old age. They don't have the strength anymore to mate with the females. Unless we magically get another male and female from the last few cocoons that we have, I don't think it's gonna happen again. So with that, I'm gonna take some of my parting shots and say, by the way, just to reiterate, this is not the end of the video, guys. This is not the finish line. This video is not over. But I am going to thank all of you for watching. I deeply and highly appreciate it. It's been a grand experience and I'm very happy to have all of you as an audience, sharing my love and passion of insects. Life is more bearable with an audience, really, with people to share my passion with. It makes an enormous difference to me personally. At this point, most of my moths have actually died. And this is the sad and ugly reality of the life of moths. Many of these males, and I think even one female, are dead. And like I said, this species does not feed. They really just live for a few days, they mate and they die. That's literally it. It's a little bit tragic, isn't it? Well folks, this is it. I have managed to collect a ridiculous amount of eggs. And these eggs will decide the fate of the end of this video. Will we end this video successfully with more babies? Or has the project sort of failed? If the eggs are infertile, I wouldn't call it failed, because we did manage to raise many of the moths, but it would be nicer, of course, to end it with a mating. Mating this species is always a little bit unpredictable. It's always hard to observe the mating. They mate for a very short time at night. And they are kind of fickle. I do think some of the signs, some of the eggs, definitely not all of them, but some of the eggs are showing signs of fertility. So I'm really hoping that even if half of them develop, I will be very happy. It means that at least one female has mated. So that would be a grand conclusion of this video. It's not in my hands anymore, guys. Are we going to have babies or not? For that, stay tuned. I think we will. Usually this species is not difficult to breed. I do have to say that raising the caterpillars is very easy. It's actually a beginner-friendly species in many ways. The toughest part is always mating them, really. Mating the moths. Stauropus fagi It's not difficult, but it's just hard to control it, you know? Like, if they don't feel like mating, then there's nothing you can do to make it happen. It's just in the hands of nature and random chance. If they like each other, if they don't, then it's hard to even see or observe or know. You know what I'm saying? That's the difficult part about breeding the lobster moth. It's just a kind of random, uncontrollable species in some ways. That being said, if these eggs, even half of them hatch, it would be super. I do think we have a lot of single females right now, because the males are starting to die. I just showed you, the males are dying of old age. And that means some of them are gonna be laying infertile eggs, because they haven't mated. So that's gonna be an interesting challenge. So yeah. I usually offer beautiful close-ups in my moth videos, but in this video it was really difficult to provide this. This species just hates being handled and touched, and the slightest movement just makes them fly away. We are nearly at the end of the breeding video, and this is the first time that one ever wants to sit still for a close-up. They really are unusual and iconic moths, aren't they? I feel like they have something special to them. When you have a close relationship with insects, they change you in some ways. I feel like being closer to insects. I feel like being close to insects helps us find love in the unlovable. It helps us find complexity in the simple. It helps us find compassion in the uncompassionate. It helps us find appreciation for what is a cold and uncaring system, the indifference and the perpetuity of nature. Yet, we see it for what it is, and we hug it. We love it. We appreciate and respect what is generally despised. Studying insects has brought me a whole different worldview and a new set of values. It is respect for that which is ancient, for that which is complex, and for all the things that I cannot directly relate to myself. Isn't it the only really true form of love? It's when you can love something that is different from you. Something that perhaps cannot even love you back in return. But despite its weirdness and flaws, how weird and alien it is to you, you decide to love it, regardless. Isn't that true love? I feel as if it is. I feel as if it is true, real love, my friends. It's more than just insects. It's about the whole planet. It's about the appreciation. Wanting to protect things that wouldn't fight for your existence. It's the ultimate act of selflessness and beauty. That is the story of moths and butterflies. I'd also like to thank you guys for watching. I shared a whole lot of personal stuff in this video, but I feel like I can trust and rely on my audience in ways that many people cannot. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here and part of my passion and part of my videos. I have a small channel, it's nothing big, it's nothing serious, but it means something to me. And I think that together we build some of the best communities on the internet. Really. I know I like to make fun sometimes of people who are terminally online, or I call my viewers even simps. But that's just all in good fun. I have a great appreciation for the guys who watching my videos over the years. You mean a lot to me. I know this sounds like the same random gibberish that every YouTuber who is trying to be parasocial tries to tell you, so I know it perhaps doesn't hit home. But I can tell you that I mean it, even if it sounds something that's a dime in a dozen, if you catch my drift. Look at that silly creature. And with your continued support, I will be here forever, showing you the coolest insects planet Earth has to offer, because these insects deserve attention. They deserve the spotlight. They deserve somebody who tells their story. The story is about to end soon, however. We really only have a few cocoons left. It's gonna be all or nothing for these eggs. These are the eggs of males and females who have been together, so if there was any mating, it must be these eggs. It's my only hope for successful reproduction. But I think some of them are fertile. I think so. I don't see any clear signs yet, but some of them are kinda becoming darker, slightly in color, so I'm hoping this is a sign of fertility. Wow. How amazing is this species? How fascinating. But what about those eggs? What happened to those? Life cycle isn't really completed unless we check back on them. Well, I do have some update for you in regards to the eggs. It's a strange one though. It requires some explanation. Let me show you. So, some good news, guys. I had the eggs in a petri dish, and after about 2 weeks, some baby caterpillars came out. Let me show you. Yay! After 2 weeks, some of the eggs finally hatched. Can you believe it? Life cycle completed. We did successful breeding of the lobster moth. But I have to be honest, guys. We didn't have a perfect ending. We managed to breed the species and produce babies. However, I do have to admit honestly, the percentage of eggs that were fertile was surprisingly low. And I do need to be honest about it, because in this channel I'm honest about anything that happens. So, another successful Bart Coppens life cycle, huh? Another MothCycles, another successful breeding of a species. Kind of. But I have to be honest with you guys. I am not the kind of YouTuber that pretends to be more successful than he really is. I'm always honest with my viewers, and I like to film everything that happens. And we did run into a small little problem here. I didn't have a perfect result. You see, I kept many eggs in a petri dish. This must be hundreds of eggs. But most of them seem to be infertile and didn't hatch for some reason. I've had about 10 caterpillars from literally hundreds of eggs. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm gonna be honest about it. It's kind of strange, but with this species in captivity, sometimes you get fertility issues. The males and females can pair, and the female will lay a lot of eggs, but like only 1% or 2% of the eggs is fertile. I'm not sure if that's natural or normal, to be honest. I haven't really figured out what causes this, to be honest. But let me show you. So guys, here's a lot of the eggs that did in fact not hatch. As you can see, they are kind of brown, and they even kind of dried out. So these are basically infertile or dead. Perhaps they were never fertilized in the first place. It's very strange because I had many females and males together in one cage. So either most of them didn't pair, or they did in fact pair, but those matings didn't really result in fertility. It's a strange issue. In my opinion, the lobster moth is not difficult to breed. Raising the caterpillars is very easy, like from egg to moth. But getting them to mate and make babies and lay fertile eggs can be tricky, for reasons I don't really fully understand. So these are unhatched eggs. They will not hatch. If these hatched into caterpillars, I would have had hundreds if not thousands, but that did not happen, unfortunately. That's a shame. It's kind of unfortunate if you ask me, because the rearing went perfect. And if you want to use this video as a breeding tutorial or a breeding guide, raising the caterpillars to moths, you can use the same method that I did, and you'll have a good result. As for mating the moths, I guess be careful with doing the same things that I do. I guess technically I managed to breed the species because I just showed you I had small caterpillars. Yeah, let me show you some more. They are already growing behind the scenes. So yes, there is going to be a next generation, and if you want to be really technical, you can say that yeah, we managed to breed it, right? We managed to breed this species, but I'm not happy. I haven't counted how many caterpillars I have, but it's like 20 or even less. That's ridiculous because I had thousands and thousands of eggs. I had males and females together in the same enclosure. And I don't know what happened. It's very strange. But this is an issue that I have sometimes with this species. It's not the first time it happened. There's something strange with the lobster moth that I haven't figured out. So, and I think I'm not the only one, because sometimes when I order eggs online, yeah, that's a thing. Especially in Europe, breeding moths and butterflies is a popular hobby. There's a whole pet trade for it. People trade eggs and cocoons online. And sometimes people send me eggs. And it has happened before with this species that you get like 20 or 30 eggs and you get like 5 caterpillars or 6 and the rest never develops. So based on that, I know I'm not the only person who has had this issue. I know there's other breeders out there who like to breed this species as well. And this is your opportunity to give me advice. Write it in the comments. What would you have done differently? I'm not perfect. I would like to pretend that I get a perfect result every time I breed moths, but that's just not the case. But since I started this YouTube channel, I've made a pledge to be honest with my viewers, and I'll be honest about the success that we have, but I'll be honest about the failures. I'm not gonna hide it. I'm not gonna LARP like I'm some kind of super expert. No. And in this case, it's kind of a failure, you know? Because the point of breeding moths is kind of to create more of them than what you started with. And if you raise dozens of moths, you know, and it results in like 10 caterpillars or so, I think that's not a great result. You know, that's very bottlenecked, if you know what I mean. So, hey. Anyway, I've been raising the babies behind the scenes. Let me show you some more footage of that. Gotta love them. So yeah, I have mixed feelings about this breeding project. It was not a total failure, but for me it feels like it was kind of 50% a failure, you know. We should have had a happy ending where, you know, all those eggs hatched and I had hundreds of babies and life cycle completed, no complications. But moths do weird things sometimes in captivity. I need to figure out this fertility issue that the species tends to have. I don't know what really causes it, but we'll have to investigate it. But we did breed the species, so thank you for watching. This was Bart Coppens, and this is how to breed the lobster moth. And at the end of every MothCycles episode, I do a special segment where I talk about the biology and ecology of a species. This is very important because I don't want to be like a YouTube pet owner who just shows off animals. I want people to learn from it, right? I think the point of breeding insects is to learn from it. Learn from their life cycles, learn from their ecology. We're not gonna be like, oh, look at this pretty creature, okay, bye, next video. Nope, we're gonna learn about entomology. So let me tell you the biology of the lobster moth. Hello everyone, thank you so much for watching this fresh new episode of MothCycles. It is the most popular series on my channel and it consistently gets views. In this series I breed moths in captivity. I film all the early life stages and development. You can consider them breeding tutorials. But they are much more than just breeding tutorials alone. I also talk about the ecology of a species extensively. MothCycles pretty much answers all your questions about a species and leaves no stone unturned. You'll get to see all the stages in the development of an insect, learn how to breed them in captivity the way that I do, and then learn everything about its biology. And today we are doing the lobster moth or Stauropus fagi. This species has been requested by my fans for a long time and today I shall finally fulfill these requests. They have been an internet sensation for a while due to their utterly bizarre caterpillars. Now lobster moths are moths from the genus Stauropus. They belong to a family of moths known as the Notodontidae or the prominent moths. And if you like crazy caterpillars, then the prominent moths are worthy of your attention. Because this family of moths tend to have larvae with unusual morphologies. Here are just some examples. Carrera vinula or the puss moth, Harpia milhauseri or the tawny prominent, the Dusa sphingiformis from Asia, or the Naprepa species of South America, or the Azalea caterpillar Datana major. These are just examples I randomly cherry-picked. I could come up with hundreds if I wanted to, however. But it's just to show you how unusual the caterpillars of this family of moths can be. I have good news for my fans and viewers because in the future I'm committing myself to making more prominent moth videos. So stay tuned and subscribe if you want to see more species from this family in the future. I am working on it. Contrary to what most people believe, the lobster moth is actually not that unique. In fact, there are dozens of species around the globe, and the majority of them are actually found in Asia. Some are found in India, China, Sri Lanka and other places. And interestingly, not much is known about these species at all. In many cases, their life cycles are completely unknown to science, so further investigation is warranted. This is important to understand because some people refer to the lobster moth as one single species. It is not. And depending on where you are in the world, there could be several similar looking species in your area. People tend to have the habit of imprinting themselves on just one iconic species and identifying anything that looks similar as that species. Just like atlas moths. There's actually dozens of Attacus species, but everybody assumes they are all the atlas moth. Or how about monarchs? There are some species that look very similar to the monarch in South America, for example, but also other parts of the world. But are really different species. It's good to keep species diversity in mind. I even found one bright green species. That's impressive. And there may even be more species out there, undiscovered and unknown to science. And just in case you're wondering, yes, the other species of lobster moth also have strange looking caterpillars. Like the Stauropus alternus, a totally different species. Or how about the Stauropus taikichiana that was photographed in China? As you can see, it's a very different species, although it has similar looking larvae. Although the moth and larvae appear to have a different color pattern. Anyway, point proven. But today we are talking about only one of these species, of course. Stauropus fagi, the lobster moth. Perhaps it is the most well-known and famous because this species is found in Europe among other places. And what happens in the Western world gets the most attention. Sounds cynical, but on social media and the internet it's actually true. It's also one of the most widespread species that may play a role as well. Let's analyze the biology and the ecology of this amazing moth, Stauropus fagi. The habitat of this species primarily are woodlands. These species need properly wooded areas. Environments with one or two trees scattered around in an open landscape are not suitable most of the time. They prefer to have actual forest. This is important to keep in mind, folks, for the conservation of the species. It does depend on our collective consciousness when it comes to having the willpower to preserve the forests where they live. This species may also be found in wooded parks and gardens, but this is more rare. Small populations may sustain themselves in parks if there are enough woody plants to support them. However, they tend to be uncommon here compared to actual woodlands. It was difficult to find an accurate map of the distribution of this species, especially because on the edges of its distribution, such as northern China, Mongolia, or countries like Iran and Turkey, have very little information or data on native moth species, especially when it comes to where the range of such species begins and where it exactly ends. However, one thing is clear: Stauropus fagi is widely distributed in Europe. It is found in almost all of Central Europe, and also the most southern parts of Scandinavia, the most southern parts of the United Kingdom, Ireland, and into the Mediterranean, parts of Turkey and Israel. The species is also found throughout Russia, stretching from east to west. From what I can tell, it seems absent in Korea and southern China, but interestingly it can be found in Japan as well. The most important food plants for this species are from the Fagaceae family mainly. One of the most important food plants for them is beech tree, or Fagus. In case you're wondering, yes, this is what the scientific name, Stauropus fagi, refers to, Fagus. Fagi refers to Fagus, their favorite food plant. I don't speak Latin, so I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Probably not. Also known as beech tree. But they also really love quercus or oak tree, castanea or chestnut, corylus or hazel, and perhaps the only plants that don't belong to this group are Salix caprea or goat willow, and Betula or birch tree. All of these are host plants that they frequently use in nature, and some of their most important food plants for their conservation. Some butterflies and moths have what are called secondary food plants, which are food plants that they will use in nature, but it is not their preference. However, this species has been found on many plants. It seems to be an adaptable species that can use other alternatives to oak tree and beech in a lot of instances. Other plants that they use to feed themselves are cornus or dogwood species, hornbeam or carpinus, linden or tilia, apple or malus, hawthorn or categus, rowan or sorbus, prunus or wild cherry species, pyrus or pear, wisteria, zelkova, aker or maple, and juglans or walnut. There's probably even more plants that I haven't listed here. It seems that they can use many deciduous woodland species. Interesting. This species seems to have up to 2 broods per year. The first brood seems smaller and partial. A partial brood is when most of the pupa or cocoons are dormant in nature, but a small percentage of them turn into moths. In fact, in this video today we can confirm the species has more than one brood, because we saw it with our own eyes. The pupa produced moths in the same year that I raised them, without any sort of hibernation at all. It's possible that temperatures influence this process. In warmer and more favorable years they can produce multiple broods. In cooler years they may limit themselves to just one brood. It may also hinge on latitude and altitude. This species is sometimes also kept as a pet in the pet trade. Believe it or not, but there exists a small hobby scene for breeding moths and butterflies. I'm a big fanatic of it. The species is mostly easy to breed if you keep the leaves really fresh. The young instars like higher humidity, and the fully grown larvae prefer to be more dry and airy. Oak tree is one of the best foods to use. Beech is also really acceptable. The main issue that I have when it comes to breeding this species is lower fertility of the eggs. Sometimes the moths will mate with each other and lay hundreds of eggs, but out of all these hundreds of eggs, only a handful of caterpillars will emerge. I have not figured the reason for this problem out yet. I must do more experiments to research the reason that this happens. But it also seems that other breeders have the same issue. So whatever there is in captivity that they don't like or alters their development, perhaps we can figure it out by breeding this species more and writing down the conditions that lead to higher or lower fertility. There's a lot of things we still have to discover about moths, ladies and gentlemen. And breeding them in captivity actually helps us learn more about them and the things that they need. The material of this common species is difficult to get, believe it or not. Because of the crazy caterpillars, many people would like to breed it. They are quite in demand. But the females of this species are rarely observed, and that's the problem. The females are the ones that lay the eggs, and they rarely come to light. Because of this, it doesn't happen very often that somebody has eggs available of this special species. And now I have a gift for you. It's important. It's really important, and I hope you'll listen to it. Wait, don't leave. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a huge channel update and live update. And next to that, I also have a gift for you. It's really important. Stop. Wait. Don't leave. Stay here for a second. I have a gift for you. I'm serious. This gift is for you. I have a big announcement, big channel update, big live update, guys. This is going to change everything. And I mean everything, fundamentally, of all that we've seen on my channel in these past years. This gift is for you, my viewers. And this gift comes together with a story that I want you guys to listen to. Let's open the gift. But before that, I want to say thank you for watching MothCycles. What is MothCycles if you're new here? MothCycles is basically my most popular web series on my channel where we breed moths in captivity. I'm an online entomologist that is obsessed with butterflies and moths. And I make breeding tutorials on how to breed them in captivity, but it also shows you all the beautiful early life stages. So it helps people who watch my videos to breed these animals in captivity the way I do. Or even if you don't keep them as pets the way I do, it helps you admire them and their colors, and you can see all the life stages and development, so it's pretty educational. Thank you for watching, and now we're gonna open the gift, and it comes with a very special story. Here it comes! Let's open it! This is for you! Hear me out. Hear me out. Here comes the big reveal. MothCycles is ad-free. If you watch this series, there's not going to be advertisement on these videos, guys. I turned them off. YouTube advertisements are really obnoxious. Some of them are unskippable. And these are really long videos that sometimes take several hours. And you will get to watch them now ad-free. No advertisements. I made this decision because there is a very special backstory to all of this. I hope you'll listen to me, okay? Because this is important for me, you, and the whole community. The context behind this decision is very important, and all I ask for you people is to listen to me for a few minutes while I explain myself and what's going on with my life and this channel. In case you are new here, my name is Bart Coppens. I'm an online entomologist that films butterflies and moths. That's an understatement because in the past 7 or 8 years, I started as a young, bored little man with a video camera that was obsessed with insects. And I started making video after video after video. And gradually, I grew into what I call a moth empire. Nowadays, I am pretty much the biggest or one of the biggest content creators on the entire internet when it comes to content that revolves around butterflies and moths. If you don't believe me, on Instagram at the moment I have more than 220,000 people who follow me and watch my Instagram videos. On Facebook I have a page about moths with over 130,000 followers. On top of that I have a personal website, it's called breedingbutterflies.com with over 2,000 unique followers and visitors per day. Which doesn't sound like much, but it is for a website. It's much easier to get followers on social media than on your blog. Last but not least I have my YouTube channel, Bart Coppens. It has close to 50,000 subscribers at the moment. Ironically, my YouTube channel is probably the smallest platform out of all the things that I do. But YouTube is what I'm the most proud of. In my opinion, on this channel we have some of the best butterfly and moth content on the entire internet. Much better than most other channels. And what I want to say is, getting here was not easy. I had to work my ass off. I know this is a cliche, guys. Every YouTuber wants to convince you that making videos is hard work, that it's real labor. But let me tell you something, guys. It wasn't easy. For me, being a content creator felt more like a big struggle. It felt like a mental illness in some ways. Wow, that's a bold statement. But let me tell you what happened. I think it was 2017 or 2016 when my YouTube channel was permanently demonetized, guys. Basically, YouTube decided in one snap of their fingers that my content is not worthy of support. My content is not worthy of generating money. You see, if a YouTuber is successful and they get a lot of viewers and subscribers, YouTube will play commercials on their videos. And these commercials, they generate money. When people click on an advertisement, you earn a few cents. It doesn't sound like much, but if you have thousands and millions of people watching and clicking these ads, it adds up into what we call ad revenue. Ad revenue is how most YouTubers earn their paycheck, earn their salary, justify what they do. Except for me. YouTube refused to tell me why my YouTube channel was demonetized. And this has been the case since a long time ago, guys. I've been making videos for 7 or 8 years. Thousands and thousands of videos. I have close to 2,000 moth videos on this channel. And all this time, when I kept struggling, I did it because I have passion for what I do. I have passion in my heart for this subject. I want to talk about it. I want to capture the beauty and share it with people. While I was not getting paid for it, essentially. Now, of course, I don't do YouTube for the money. YouTube is not lucrative unless you're in the top 1% of creators, which I will definitely never be with my small moth channel. At the same time, it's important to think about these things. Because when you put so much passion, so much love and attention to detail and energy in these videos, you know, I'm sitting here with my little camera, filming these little insects, growing, transforming, putting months and months of my effort, of my heart and soul in these videos. And of course it would help to justify doing all of this if you are getting at least something out of it. Something to help pay the bills, to help compensate for the time and effort that you put in it. If you are an artist, if you like to make paintings, you don't have to get paid. If you are a true artist, you will love making paintings and art just for the soul of it, just for the sake of it, because you want to express yourself. And I felt the same way. At the same time, I felt like this decision was very unfair. YouTube has never told me the reason why I was explicitly demonetized. They never told me. Never. And I kept emailing them for years because mentally this was like a splinter in my ass, if I am being frank with you. It's not very nice to be punished for something and not being told the reason why. If I do something wrong, if I break the rules of YouTube, of your system, I'm okay with the consequences, I accept it, but please tell me what rule I broke. How am I supposed to learn from it if you don't tell me? And I've been emailing YouTube for years, and eventually they black on white told me they were unable to tell me which rule or guideline I violated. Wow, the audacity. This is black on white, proof, I have it in my email. Unable to tell me what rule or guideline I violated. This hurts, because I'm out here, my videos are not controversial, I just talk about nature and insects, okay? I don't simp for Donald Trump, or Joe Biden, or Hillary Clinton, or whatever shitty, terrible president the United States wants to come up with. I'm not here telling people, insulting your religion. I'm not here peddling controversial things, I'm not talking about pandemics or vaccines or... I'm just here filming moths and butterflies, and YouTube thought it was controversial enough to demonetize my whole channel. I don't get it. I was so frustrated. But I came up with one solution, and this saved me, this rescued my channel, this changed everything. You see, around 2016, something called crowdfunding became popular on the internet. It's probably much earlier, but that's when I discovered it. People were doing Kickstarters, GoFundMes, but some of these platforms became subscription-based. One of them I found was Patreon. Patreon, I think we all know it, is a platform where you can buy a subscription to a YouTuber or artist or commentator, somebody that does work that you like, and you can basically support them. These subscriptions, they cost typically a few dollars per month. And you tend to get some stuff in return. And Patreon has helped me and this channel so much. It's the reason why I'm still here today, making these long videos. I have some really old videos as proof for how long I've been doing this. Let's play them. If you are willing to contribute to my scientific research, and my online blogs and videos, then do check it out. Maybe it's something for you. I'm just doing a little experiment, and I want to know if there are people who want to and can contribute to my mission. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with more soon. Goodbye. That's really nostalgic, isn't it? These old videos of young me. I feel old. I've been here so long. Some of you guys grew up watching my videos. It's kind of crazy. But basically, since nearly the inception of this channel, it is your generosity that sustained me. It has really changed my view about people. I used to be more of a cynical, misanthropic guy. People are selfish. People are not worthy of, saving. Humanity votes against their own interest. And sure, we have problems as a species, I admit it. We don't treat the planet very kindly. We are destroying our own life support systems. We certainly seem to be devolving in a society with less and less empathy for the vulnerable, for the sick, for the weak, for the disabled, for the oppressed. And it hurts me. But I've also seen the incredible generosity of people. It's very complex how we as a species can be cold. We can go to war. We can destroy each other over religion. But we can also see a silly moth guy on YouTube and decide to help him. It's funny to be on the receiving end of such generosity. And over the years you guys have been donating so much money to this channel, I'm being honest. There's even been people who paid for my trips to South America just because they like my videos, and for this I just want to fall to my knees and say thank you. Thank you guys. I feel unworthy. At the same time I was very pleased because I'm a man with ambition. I have strong ambition. I think we can make something meaningful. You know, I think it's very meaningful to talk about insects in nature in a world that thinks that insects are disgusting and should be eradicated and all of them are pests. No. Insects are the most important animals for any terrestrial ecosystem. They pollinate, they basically recycle, they are reducers, they are consumers. Without insects we have a big problem in the environment and people don't care about them and their conservation. So the fact that people were able to financially support me and my videos for so many years, I'm so grateful for that. I could literally cry if I wasn't an emotionless autist. I do have autism, but that was a joke. It's not that bad. But I'm so thankful for you guys. So thankful for your generosity. I want to do something in return. So what changed? And this is where we have the happy ending. Since a few years ago YouTube has a new CEO. Old CEO was replaced, or she quit. I'm not sure what happened. And because of that, Google and YouTube changed many of their policies to be more transparent with creators. And this included a more open YouTube customer service. In the past, it was almost impossible to get in touch with YouTube. There was a time where they would only send me automatic replies. Basically, telling me, oh, you're not part of the YouTube partner program anymore. We're just gonna send you an automatic reply. We're not gonna acknowledge your existence as a human. Made me very angry because I work my ass off to make videos for this website that doesn't even acknowledge that I exist. It's terrible, it's terrible. But to YouTube's credit, and I have to give YouTube a compliment, it is very easy nowadays to send them an email and get a reply. So I never gave up, guys. I kept harassing YouTube for years and years. Why did you demonetize my channel? Why am I demonetized? And finally, after 8 years of me harassing and emailing YouTube, they caved in, guys. They conceded and sent me an email that I can apply to the YouTube partner program. After all these years, I won. We won. YouTube tried to kill the beast. They tried to contain the beast, but they only made it stronger. We won. And since then, my YouTube channel has become monetized. My channel is now monetized. If you're watching this, this is news. My channel is now finally monetized. I am making money from my videos. For the first time since 2017. And this is great news. Because I never liked having to rely on your support this much. Having to ask people for money and beg for it. It's embarrassing. Some people struggle to pay their bills and electricity, and you're out here. Please support my channel. Please Give me $1. And it sucks, it hurts, it's degrading. But I didn't see any other way to continue. It's either give up or scale down my video production, which I don't want because I'm passionate about it, or justify doing this financially by finding other ways to make some money from it. And it finally happened. But I haven't forgotten about all of you, all of your donations, all of your support. I have not forgotten. You're mine now. Wow, okay, that was violent. But that's not who I am. I am not a backstabber. You see, I was faced with a brand new moral dilemma. Because for all these years I have been building these crowdfunding websites like Patreon to make money for myself, to make more cool insect videos for you guys. And the reason why many people donated is so they could support me and my content. Because I didn't have ad revenue, there's no advertisements on my videos. That's why some of you donated. So my moral dilemma is, what if I put advertisements on my videos now? Well, there are so many people subscribed to my Patreon. Patreon is still here. I didn't delete it. But I feel like it would be immoral for me to now, after people supported me and had my back for so many years, to just turn around and slap advertisement all over these videos. And some people actually were not happy with the change of me getting monetized, saying things like, I'm not gonna watch all these unskippable ads on your videos, Bart. You know what, I kinda understand your point. Because first of all, let's be honest, these ads that YouTube has nowadays are incredibly annoying and unskippable. It's annoying. So, and therefore I have decided to make MothCycles ad-free. I think this makes total and perfect sense for several reasons. Number one, MothCycles is the most popular web series on my channel that most of my hardcore fans watch. Yeah, I make silly algorithmic videos that are kinda be clickbaity, like, ooh, squeaky death's head moths. But I don't think that the true fans come to my channel to see that stuff. I think the really dedicated fans who watch my videos come here for the MothCycles episodes, guys. People like you. Second of all, these videos are very long. I feel like advertisements on a long video are more obnoxious. Because if you're watching a video that's an hour long or more, then there's gonna be an advertisement every 8 minutes, and before you know it, you've seen 10 or 12 advertisements if you wanna see these MothCycles episodes, which gets very annoying. Even though it's my most popular series that gets a lot of watch time and views, I have decided I am going to make this series ad-free as a gift to you and my community. This is basically my way of saying thank you for donating to me all these years. Thank you. Seriously. I remember the people who helped me in the past. I remember the people who helped me get where I am. And I'm not gonna turn around and slap advertisements on all the videos. I feel like I should give something back in return. So yeah, that's the good news, folks. If you are an enjoyer of MothCycles, if you're watching this right now, you're enjoying this ad-free, no advertisements. This video is not monetized. Not because YouTube demonetized it, but because I demonetized it for you. To make it more watchable. That's my gift. And that's the good news, we are monetized. I do want to say, guys, I am not giving up Patreon. I would be pretty crazy to give that up. But I am going to change my tune. I am never again going to confront you with, please support my videos because I'm demonetized. That time is just over. At the same time, I do want to provide value for the people who supported me and still continue to support me. So if you are still interested in my Patreon, I do send a lot of stuff like, my Patreon is not going away. It's still here. And instead, I've decided I'm going to send people more benefits, gifts, stickers, merchandise. In fact, my Patreon for many years already had a loyalty program. And that means that every 3 or 4 months when you are subscribed, you can earn gifts. Things that I design myself. Things that I made with my own hands. And if you subscribe to my Patreon, you are still getting these benefits. This doesn't change. And also your name will be in the credits of every special production. If you're a big fan of this channel and if you want to support an independent entomologist that speaks out for conservation, biodiversity, and films the life cycles of insects, you still may want to consider joining it. For all intents and purposes, you will be helping me make more videos for sure. And I know a lot of you supported me because Patreon was basically my only income, my only budget from YouTube. But now I can make money from my videos. And perhaps that reason to support me is now gone. So I'm gonna double down on the rewards. I'm gonna make sure to provide you value for your donations. Because I am so grateful. We finally made it. And if you're interested, check out my Patreon. You don't want to miss out. It was always optional to support me. I never expected it. I never demanded it. It was always for the people who are willing and able. And it still is today. But it's become even less urgent to bring it up now. And I just wanted to say thank you and give you this announcement, really. Thank you. Thank you for being here, and together we will overcome and build the biggest moth empire on the internet. Ad astra per aspera. And now let's play the credits of the people who are subscribed to my Patreon. It's thanks to you guys that I'm still here. After all these years. Making video after video after video.